Mm, 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 mm. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Alrighty. We are getting there. I have this up. You. Oh my goodness. It's Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. And we are going to be doing the same exact thing we did yesterday, just drawing faces. I'm literally just practicing drawing faces. I mean, yeah, I haven't been practicing drawing faces, or I'm still working on a book. This is definitely something for the book, but starting like one of my giant templates for faces, and I just want to draw a bunch of different kinds of faces, just so I can. I noticed that when I draw characters, I don't put any emphasis on the faces. What's up, Jamie? So I want to put a little bit more emphasis on the faces. Plus, I did this face challenge in the book and realized I didn't put any context behind the face challenge. I just said, you guys should do this face challenge, and then like didn't show any examples. So this is kind of like me being like, all right, well, these are the examples for those of you guys that, you know, want to try the challenge, I guess. But that's what I'm going to be working on today. I'm just going to be drawing faces and relaxing. Trying to be more active on my stream. I want to play games, but for some reason I just can't pull myself to like open a game and play it, you know. I'm on my way out, but I need you to keep this VOD so I can keep up. Well, my VODs don't go public like anymore, so I always forget to like make them public. They literally just, I don't know. I have like, I don't know how many VODs that are not public. I usually stick them on YouTube, you know. Fix it? No, I made it like that on purpose. I'm trying to drive people to my YouTube because, you know, like fucking I have a YouTube. And so, yeah, I'm not like my art videos. I'm going to start posting on YouTube so I don't make the videos public. I want people to come and see the live videos on Twitch or go to YouTube to watch the previews, you know. So it'll be on YouTube. But yeah. Like I really think I'm only gonna do like I'm only gonna make the gameplay stuff public, and then everything else is just gonna go straight to YouTube. So yeah. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. All right, well, you have fun, Evil, and we will see you when you come back, or if you come back, or whatnot. But we're gonna go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay. So, like I was saying, we are literally just going to be drawing faces today. I'm just not really interested in drawing anything else, and I'm just kind of like hanging out and having fun. It's not meant to be anything like learning wise. It's just I want to draw faces. I need to practice drawing faces, so I'm gonna practice drawing faces. That's pretty much it. I've been trying to do more of the. I've been trying to do more facial expressions. Also, I'm probably going to be playing Hogwarts Legacy because I like fucking Harry Potter, and I want to. This Harry Potter looks really good. I don't give a fuck about the controversy and shit that's going on. Like, I like Harry Potter, so more than likely I'm probably gonna be playing that at some point. Just to give y'all a heads up, but you know, only a select few people watch me play games anyway, so you know. But yeah, we worked on this chick yesterday here, and then we also worked on this chick. Well, actually, I did this after we got off stream, and I did this one after we got off stream. I was gonna do this one on a stream, but I was like, whatever. So I'm starting this one, but I'm trying to do more facial expressions. You know what I mean? Like I noticed that I'm drawing a lot of different ethnicities or whatever, but I'm like, I need to be focused on like facial expressions. You know, that's the thing. You know. So yeah. Hey D2K, how are you? So I want to try to draw some facial expressions today to go along with, you know, I want more facial expressions that look kind of like this, where you gotta do face wrinkles and shit like that, you know, because I notice I don't really do that when I draw, you know. Is there a boob filter on Discord? Why am I hacked again? Because I know somebody was posting like porn on there. Like, I know a lot of people are getting fucking hacked or whatever, but what do you mean, is there a boob filter? There might be, I don't know. Why do you ask? I forgot that posted a lot of shit. Oh, that's... No, but when I try to post a picture, it gives me a warning. I guess there's a boob filter. I don't fucking know. I didn't put it. It's probably the bot that automatically sets, because they have an automatic bot setting, and I just set the bot and left it wherever it was. You know, if it's nudity, they probably gonna censor it. I don't know. I don't pay that much attention to like the settings in Discord. I probably should, but I don't. I'm like, you know, nothing new. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I have to balance my time between shit that I care about and shit that I don't. And like, I don't care about what people post in Discord. So from what I know, you can post whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as it's not porn, but you know, like you get hacked and shit. Like, I don't fucking know. I couldn't tell you. I'd have to look. This is the first time I'm hearing about that. But I think someone a long time ago mentioned that it was like a filter, and I was like, I put it. So I don't know. It was a picture of She-Ra wearing her regular. Like I said, I don't know, man. Like, your guess is good as mine. I will tell you that I'm going to look into it, okay? But I'm probably not. Like, I'm just being honest. I don't really like, because when I get offline, unless it's something like somebody posting like porn links and stuff like that, I don't put that much emphasis on checking shit in my YouTube. I mean, because I made it where anybody can post anything, but it also depends on where you're posting it to. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Let's see. So we are working on drawing these faces. We're gonna appoint some people to be like Discord mods because I think I'm the only me and two and a couple other people are mods, but they don't really mod the Discord because, to be 100% honest, I don't. I read it when I get messages and stuff like that, but I'm not actively in Discord because I work so much. I still haven't figured out what I want to actually, what I want my Discord to actually be. But I usually, basically, my primary function for my Discord right now is like to talk to my friends when I'm streaming. Everything else is like a side bonus, I guess. Except for the sub Discord, which I actually do actively pay attention to. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask because I am just drawing faces. Oops. Like I said before, generally I made this challenge, right, for the book. But I was like, I'm going back through the book because I'm making the physical copy and I'm thinking of things that I can do for the physical copy to make it better, right? And that and finish off things I think I left unfinished and stuff like that. And one of the things that I feel like I left unfinished was the face challenge, which is this page right here. It's called the 100 face challenge. You're supposed to draw 100 faces in circles or whatever. It's supposed to help teach you how to draw facial expressions. But I never actually put any examples, right? So I'm like, oh, maybe I should put some examples of what I'm talking about so that people can understand what the challenge is, right? But I didn't do that. So I'm kind of like going through the book, figuring out how I can make it, better. That's one of the things that I was thinking was like, all right, I need to draw faces. I think the only faces that I have in the book where I'm actually that are like fully functional faces is in the hair section. Other than that, everything is like construction of faces. It's not just full faces. It's just how I construct them or whatever. So I want to kind of fix that. Plus, I haven't drawn faces in a while. I've been drawing poses for so fucking long that I am so burnt out on drawing poses. And this is like my escape poses. I realize that the more I draw poses, the more I just get sucked into this. Like where I feel myself drawing the same thing over and over and over, or I feel myself drawing the same topic. Like I love robots and monsters and stuff, but I don't draw that many monster women because it's very hard to make monster women look sexy unless they're like tentacle girls or, if you're gonna do that. So I end up drawing like cyborg women and stuff like that. And I'm like, I have so many of those sketches. I'm like, I need to do something else. So that's when I was like, all right. I need to what I need to do is I need to just kind of step away from that right now and come back to it later when my brain is in the right place. Hey, Shining. Yeah, they are fun to draw. They're too fun to draw. They're so fun to draw that I don't really want to draw anything else. It's don't get me wrong, monsters are fun to draw too. They're just not sexy. So, you know, if you're teaching people how to draw sexy women, or you're telling people how you draw sexy women, you can't really draw things that aren't sexy, right? Because it just defeats the purpose. You're not really showing them what you're supposedly showing them. So, you know, I was like, well, fuck, can't be doing that. You know, like it's counterproductive. So, I mean, for what I'm working on right now, later on, I can draw whatever, you know, shit I want, you know, like, but right now I need to be focused on whatever is going to go in this book so I could, you know, like end this chapter in my art journey and get back to doing it, get back to reinstalling like my normal things that I draw. I want to draw more monsters. I want to draw more robots. I want to draw more tattoos, stuff like that. Not that I can't draw that kind of stuff now, but anytime I think about drawing something, it always I'm stuck in that mode where every time I try to think about drawing something, it turns out like a woman. You know, I was actually gonna draw a tattoo and a concept idea I got from one of my clients, because you know it's that season. Tattooing is starting to pick up again because it is tax season, so I'm getting requests from clients, and one of my clients requested like a knight type character, like a female knight, which I thought was pretty cool. But she gave me a different name for the project, and I looked it up, and it was basically like a female knight, and it was like really cool. And I was like holding this specific type of sword, and I was like, shit, I'm drawing this shit right now. So I'm like, fuck, I could totally do this, you know. So I kind of want to like break away from drawing like this and then like draw some tattoo stuff, because I've been drawing shit for the book, but I don't want to like abandon drawing stuff for the book, because I know I won't come back to it. I will literally just start. If I start drawing tattoo shit, I'll be drawing tattoo shit for the next 3 months, and then the book will just be sitting. You know. Oh, well, I mean, for those of you guys that just came in, if you want to check out the book, it's up. This is stuff for the physical copy of the book. The digital copy is up. We're still editing it, but you know. Have I seen the new slate for the DC? I don't. You know what the thing is? I don't like DC I don't care for DC movies. I've seen it though, but none of those movies interest me at all. None of them. I wait for DC movies to come out, and I just kind of watch them in passing, because they're not as good as the MCU. Right? I'm invested in the MCU story because they just tell it better. DC cartoon movies, yeah, when that shit comes out, I'm on it, because I'm trying to wait for the Batman, the Doom that came to Gotham or whatever it is, or something like that. I want to watch that. But like the movies, I could give a fuck less. They're still trying to make the shit for kids. Unless it's a Batman movie, everything is like kid related, like PG-13, and I could give a fuck less if it's not like, you know, like the comic. So I saw it, like, you know how you see something like, oh, well, that's cool, you know, whatever, you know. They don't have Henry Cavill as Superman, so I don't give a fuck about Superman, because, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't care who they cast, it's not going to be Henry Cavill, and that motherfucker's the best Superman since Christopher Reeves. So yeah, needless to say, I know everybody has high hopes or whatever, but like, that's just gonna be hot trash. It is not gonna be good if Henry Cavill doesn't play Superman, because he killed that role. And you know, it's just like Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man. he was Iron Man. And then of course, you know, Heath Ledger playing the Joker. Everybody tried to give who's the other guy that played Joker? That tried to play Joker and just kind of ruined it. I don't fucking know his name, but he just like shit on it or whatever. Yeah, I don't really have high hopes for the new slate. James Gunn is a good producer, but these fucking constant reboots for the DC universe are stupid. They're rebooting because they can't get the shit straight. And every time you reboot something, it's like you basically have to start with the origin. And how many origins do you need for Superman and Batman and all? Yeah, Jared Leto, that motherfucker just shit on Batman. He was the worst Joker I've seen, you know. And I'm sure some people like Jared Leto as the Joker, but no. After Heath Ledger, it's like, dude, this, man, it's gonna be hard pressed to find someone that can actually play the Joker and get people invested in it. It's just one of them roles where it also depends on how you deliver the Joker, because it's not so much the person that's playing it, it's the way they're playing him. Because the Joker movie was good, but the Joker movie wasn't really like a Joker movie you would think that they would make. That was more like a mental health like type movie, or like, you know, it was like a mental. Joaquin Phoenix could play a good Joker, but like the context of the movie was like mental health awareness. It was literally like mental illness, the movie. You know what I mean? It was what made the whole movie worth it, because everybody gave it rave reviews and all that. I personally, if it wasn't for like the last 10 or 20 minutes, I would have thought the movie was like a crashing board. I didn't care about it as much as everybody else cared about it. It didn't feel like a Joker movie to me. It was an origin story, but first off, that's not the Joker that you normally see. That's the original Joker. People don't even know that there's more than one Joker. You know, like the Red Hood Joker is the Joker that I like. Is it the Red Hood? Yeah, Red Hood Joker. People don't even know that the Joker used to be the Red Hood before they actually have the Red Hood they have now. But it's comic book things. I like that version of the Joker, which is like the more comedic, you know, but psychotic. The Heath Ledger one. Where it's like, I'm just fucking crazy for the sake of being crazy, because, you know, I just want to be crazy. Like, that's kind of how I would imagine a psycho. Like, I don't have a specific reason to be crazy, but, you know, why not be crazy? Type Joker. But I know that they casted Lady Gaga for Harley Quinn. That'll be interesting. I actually want to see. I think she could play a good Harley Quinn, if that's what they casted her for. But I'm pretty sure they casted her for Harley Quinn, so pretty sure she could probably kill that role. Margaret Robbie was a good Harley Quinn. Like, she was Harley Quinn, you know. But let's see what Lady Gaga can do. I see that they're taking a more serious approach to the Joker, but the thing is, with villain movies, is with any movie, you want to see the protagonist win. So are they gonna make a movie where the Joker like actually wins, or like, you know what I mean? Are they gonna have Batman in it? Is Batman gonna be like, you know, like a side character? Like, that's the shit that is like crazy about a villain movie. And a villain origin story movie is good, but it's like, okay, you have the origin story out and everything like that, now what? Like, what can you really tell? The Joker Joker and Batman cannot exist without each other. You know what I mean? Like Batman could probably, because he got so many villains, but it's still like the problem with most shit dealing with Batman is like they're all the other villains are like watered down or not as good as the Joker. Like it's kind of like how they have not made Spider-Man fight Venom yet, and all of his other like villains are just kind of like no one gives a shit about the other villains. We want Spider-Man and Venom fighting, and not the stupid jokey Venom. We want Venom that wants to fucking kill Spider-Man because it's fucking Eddie Brock, his high school bully. You know what I mean? Like I want that Joker. I mean that Joker. I want that Venom. Plus I like the way they did Venom in the movie because he's the bigger Venom. You know, I hate when they make Venom that's like the same size as Spider-Man. Like, no, man, we want like 10 feet tall Venom. You know, but it's all a preference. You know what I mean? I heard that Joker 2 is a musical. Not for sure about that. If it's a musical, no one's gonna go watch it. I guarantee you. They wouldn't be that stupid. Wait a minute. Yes, they would. It's fucking the DCU. Yeah, they would be that stupid. I really hope they don't make it a musical. Musicals are a niche crowd. Cannot make musicals. People don't really care about musicals. Like comic book people don't care about musicals like that. It's like one of them things where it's like you gotta read the room. Like you gotta read the room. You can't really be that dumb. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Most of these people are not in touch with their audience, so I take that back. They could totally be making a musical. And fuck. But I mean, you know, like I said before, their cartoons are always better than their movies. So as long as the cartoons are still fire, they got a fan. When they start fucking the cartoons up like they did Batman Ninja, that's when there's gonna be a problem. Well, they did. You know what the funny thing was? They did that in the old TV series. They would have like weird shit like that, like dance offs and stuff like that, and just really weird stuff. But it was the early '80s, '70s. That's kind of the thing, you know. Like people, that shit could pass because TV was TV, and you pretty much watched whatever was on TV. So you didn't really necessarily have a choice. But nowadays you have so much choice. It's like, yo, come on now. You know what I also noticed? I watched the movie Megan, all right? And all I have to say about the movie Megan is what I have to say about most movies these days. Why is it that the dialogue, I don't know who the target audience was for that movie, but they need to stop with this woke dialogue or overly mature dialogue in certain movies. I don't know who they're trying to relate to, but it kills the character mode. If you have a doll and this doll is like talking woke, you know, it's like, bro, come on, man. Like y'all gotta, you know what I mean? Stop sneaking all of this political shit into movies, man. Or like they hit you with the undertones, and it's like I get you. Every movie has to have a message, right? But it's like anything else. You get tired of hearing the same fucking message. We get it. You hate men. Like, it's literally what it goes. Anytime they make a movie with a female protagonist, it's like the male is the antagonist. You know, not really in that movie, but it was like a Karen versus a doll is basically what that movie was. It was like doll Karen versus human Karen. And I'm like, this chick is literally a Karen. And you got her being like this, you know, I don't know if you guys seen the movie. I don't want to spoil, but like the entire movie can be summed up by saying like, person that doesn't want to be a parent because they're a toy maker taking care of somebody that they don't want to take care of, so they make a doll to take care of it. It's a remake of an old movie, anyways. But yeah, the point that they were trying to make was a good point. It just got overshadowed by the fact that they were doing all that woke shit. It was literally like, there's a part in the movie where they basically didn't have to really push the whole, men are evil thing, but they just went in on it. I was like, okay. All in all, I get a movie like a 6 out of 10. It's watchable if you watch it on like a subscription thing, but I wouldn't go to the movie theater to see it. Definitely not recommended to anybody. I would just kind of watch it. If you have Netflix and chill night, that might be the type of movie that might get you laid, because the girl definitely ain't going to be interested in the movie for that long. Maybe it's a good movie for kids to watch if you want to scare them into not liking dolls. And if your kid wants to fucking do a TikTok video of the dance. That's literally probably it. It's like, I think most of the people only watch the movie so they can see the TikTok dance anyway, and they're like, whatever. Wasn't that, You guys made me eat. Charisma, ain't you supposed to be working? No, wait a minute, you're off. Thanks for the 5 months, yo. I can't even believe you stayed up to me for 5 months. That shit is crazy. How have your streams been going? Hopefully good. If you have been streaming, I don't even think you pop up on my notification. I'm gonna check and see if I can watch the Batman Doom that came to Gotham today. I don't really have nothing else to do, so once I finish drawing these faces and get bored, draw faces, that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing today. That's what we're doing. I'm trying to make more faces with more expression, so that's what we're working on. I'm working on other things. Everybody is always working on other things. I know you're not working on nothing else, and if you're working on something else and it ain't, well, I mean, you know what? Whatever you do, I hope it works out. I know you ain't working on nothing else. Whatever it is you're working on, it could definitely be done simultaneously with streaming. I heard that TwitchCon is coming to Las Vegas. It's a rumor, so I'm not fully invested in it. But boy, if they come to I already told my kids, if they come to fucking Las Vegas, we going, and these motherfuckers better become streamers. I'm not going with anybody that's not an affiliate, and I can't go by myself, so they have to go. They were like, why can't I go by myself? And I was like, because I'm old, you fucking idiot. Even though I'm a streamer, I'm old. So I have to drag them with me so that I can be like, I brought my kids, which are grown-ups. Like, it's better than going by myself. I was gonna use my vacation time for something else, but now I gotta wait till they officially announce TwitchCon. But I want to be good at what I'm doing before I start streaming. I hate to break the news to you, but if you're not streaming, you're not gonna be good. This is one of them types of careers that you have to do to be good. You don't do studies and then turn on your stream one day and be good. If that's what you're hoping for, it ain't gonna happen, because there's shit that comes with being a streamer that makes you good. The reason why I can talk so fluid and just hold a conversation with myself and say a bunch of dumb shit for hours is because I've been doing it for a long time, and I have the formula there. You are not gonna start streaming and be good if you don't do it all the time. And if you watching motherfuckers like Kai and all of them, you're gonna be terrible, because them motherfuckers is ignorant. But they built an audience that likes their ignorance. That's what you're building. Your audience is the key. A lot of people don't really know that, but the audience is the key to you being a good streamer. The kind of audience you have, or having an audience, is what makes you relevant in streaming. Doesn't matter about the view count and stuff like that. It literally matters about you engaging with somebody. And if you have nobody to engage with, your interaction is going to suffer. You are definitely not going to be like, I'm going to do a bunch of research and have a bunch of cool shit, start streaming, and I'm going to be great. Nope, you're going to fucking suck. You're going to have a bunch of cool shit, and then you're going to start streaming, and then be like, I don't like, because it's not, you're not automatic a success. It takes years for you to build a community enough to be able to sustain whatever kind of a lifestyle you want to have in streaming. And the sooner you start, the better. And the more you keep telling yourself you have other shit to do, the longer it's going to take you to get there. And then you're not going to do it at all. Just saying. I want to be good at what I'm doing before I start streaming. What are you doing? Rapping? You gonna rap on stream? Well, you know what the thing is I told myself I was gonna stop trying to push people into streaming because sometimes it's just not for everybody. And 90% of the people that I know that say they want to do other things before they start streaming is secretly saying they don't really want to be a streamer. And I can respect that. So I personally don't think you're going to be a streamer because it's just not for everybody, and that's fine. It takes a lot more work than I would like to admit because I'm just kind of used to it because I talk a lot anyway. My kids still don't do it, and I am just dumbfounded at the fact that they don't do it because they don't fucking do shit else. But I mean, it's the generational thing, I guess. But I told them that if TwitchCon is coming to Vegas, you motherfuckers is going with me because I'm not going up in there by myself. My old ass can't go to TwitchCon even though I'm a partner. I can't just roll up in there by myself. But I definitely want to go. I've been waiting for TwitchCon to come to Vegas. Time for me to network. See, they're gonna go and they're gonna have good fun or whatever at my expense, but I'm networking. I have people that I've been dying to meet that I was not trying to travel to San Diego to meet. I went in 2016, and that shit was the best time I ever had in my life. I'm not joking. All the way until my fucking car got towed, and then I was like, fuck California, because fuck California. If I can give you some advice, if you have other people that you know that are streaming, which I know you do, like team up with them. You need somebody that you can talk to, like on stream. Streaming alone, my biggest thing now is I wish I had more friends that still streamed so that I could interact with my friends while I'm streaming. Because chat is cool, right? But you're talking to text. It's completely different when you're holding a conversation with somebody that's live. You know what I mean? Like, definitely find somebody that you can actually co-stream with, or that will pop in and say what's up every now and again, so you have a human voice you can connect with. That's not just for you, Charisma. That's for anybody that wants to be a streamer. Now it's about the people that you connect with. It's about your team, because they will help you with content. Just make sure the motherfuckers on your team is on the same page, because some motherfuckers they can't leave they social or their real life behind. Ain't gonna get your ass banned, or some motherfuckers just don't understand how the internet works, because they just sit up and watch people and they don't actually do it. So, you don't want somebody in your channel that don't understand that you can't say or do things on the internet, because your ass gonna get banned quick, fast. And also understand that motherfuckers that ain't making no money from streaming don't really care. Wasn't Too Senseless on stream with you just recently? Yeah, that's my her and Soups used to be my go-to people. But Too Senseless doesn't really stream. You know, she just does it every now and again, and I usually stream with her. You know what I mean? She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to like solo stream anymore, which I agree with that. Soups is doing other shit because Soups would be in the stream with me and stuff like that, but I'm doing art. Soups doesn't really hang out with me when I'm doing art. We used to play Monster Hunter and shit like that together. That's like my gaming. That's like my gaming buddy. I could hit him up and be like, "Yo, man, you want to do some runs on some Monster Hunter?" And he'd be like, "When?" And then yeah, we hook up and do that. But I need more art people that I can hang out with and talk about art. My goal was to have like 4 artists that draw a topic, right? But we all draw it our way and we all discuss our opinions about said topic. Kind of like a podcasting. Then me and Soups were kind of talking about doing a podcast, but I was waiting on Soups, you know. But yeah. No, the thing is like you don't get banned for a lot of stuff. You know, as much as you think. Back when we first started, you got banned for fucking everything. Now, because everything is such a fine line, Twitch kind of lets a lot of shit slide and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much fucking Twitch drama going on that they don't like to talk about it, or they like to pretend like they don't talk about it or whatever. But like Twitch always skates the fine line, and they actually hire streamers. They pretty much look to the higher streamers about how they should handle shit, which is why when certain things happen and people are like, why the fuck did they do that? Because they're talking up bigger streamers. They talk to the motherfuckers that make money about the choices that they should make, because they want the motherfuckers that bring them revenue to keep bringing them revenue. If you don't make Twitch money, they literally don't give a shit about what you do. And if you get banned or something like that, don't think it's Twitch fucking with you. I keep telling people this over and over and over. If you get banned, it's not Twitch, it's your fucking viewers. It is literally your viewers report the shit that you do, and Twitch determines whether or not they want to act on said thing. So, you know, if you're like, oh, well, I got banned, but this person didn't, it's because their community didn't rat on them. Somebody in your community is ratting on you. I noticed that a lot of people do that, they get mad, and I'm like, do you realize that your community, Twitch is too big to be going in specific channels? There isn't a person rolling around looking for people to ban. If you do something and you get banned really quick, you have somebody hate watching you. They report it. The people, they review the report, and then they act accordingly. The same thing like Instagram. Instagram ain't surfing your page looking for you. Like the executives at Instagram or the people that work at Instagram don't give a shit about what you're doing. Your community does. And your community is reporting you and being like, hey, this person is doing something I don't like. Can you please, this thing came across my timeline, can you please fix it? And then they'll be like, oh, hey, that's against TOS, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So while y'all on Reddit or whatever complaining about shit, like understand it is literally your community doing that shit, y'all. Shit that be cracking me up. It's like motherfuckers just really don't know that, or they know and they just want to complain. Probably not. It's like TikTok. Like I have a friend that used to review stuff for TikTok, and she's the one that told me like, yeah, we just get reports and then we act on the reports. There are people reporting you. So like when you have e-girls and shit and they post stuff and they keep getting their accounts taken down, they got like 90 accounts, it's because motherfuckers is literally reporting them because they're hate watching. And then they always have to make new accounts. But the thing is, their accounts are public, and this person, the more you piss off people, the more they have something to do. You got to realize that most motherfuckers that get mad these days, they if you're the person that's pissing them off, they're hyper focused on you. You know what I mean? Like, so now if you're the person that pissed them off, now they have something to do. Most of these motherfuckers that be doing this shit to y'all don't have anything to do, and the minute you say or do something to them, you just gave them something to do. Now you're their new thing to do. I'm gonna fuck with this person, and every time they post something, I'm gonna get it taken down because I'm doing God's work or whatever fucking shit that they come up with. That's how they think, you know. And the more you call them losers and say they need to get a life and stuff like that, it gives them that dopamine, because in their brain they're like, I'm making them mad, and making them mad makes me feel good. That's literally how they motherfuckers think. When you aren't bothered by shit, it doesn't really, you know what I mean? It doesn't interest them if they're doing something to you and you're just kind of shrugging it off. They're like, well, I'm not getting dopamine. This person isn't responding the way that I think that they should have responded. I'm gonna go do something else. Like if you ban somebody and they keep coming back, you know, it gives them something to do. But if you don't ban them and you just time them out, you know what I mean? Now they aren't going to come back the next day. You can give them the option to come back the next day. If you're like, yo, we're just going to time you out right now, you can come back tomorrow. It's almost like, fuck you, I'm not coming back, blah, 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 blah. I don't have time for that, you know, like, versus banning them. Now I have enough energy to go make another account. Fuck this person. You're not gonna ban me. I'm gonna make several alt accounts and come back and keep fucking with you. But now Twitch has something to counter that. What's up, hero? Yeah, like I noticed that about people. Like you get motherfuckers that literally like they exhaust so much energy to like trolls and shit, and it's like, dude, you're giving them what they want. You know that, right? But a lot of people don't see it that way. But I mean, that's literally what the trolls are looking for. They want you to, like when someone says something in your chat and you stop and be like, you're ignorant, and then you spend 30 minutes ranting about their shit, this motherfucker is sitting back just dying laughing because now your whole stream is about what they just did. And that's what they want. It's literally the entire reason they did it. It's because they want to hear your response to what they did. That's why they don't do it in big streams, because in big streams it's just in the shuffle. Or they have hyper mods, and then when the mods get them, they're like Nazi mods, stuff like that, because you know the mod is on them and they get banned, or they like, now it's like ban appeals. Yeah, they do ban appeals now. I want to be in a ban appeal. I'm gonna say something racist and hope they don't perma ban me, so that I can get in the ban appeals. And then they come in there like, oh, I was spurging out too much and I said some racist stuff, I'm sorry. That's like the new thing too, is apologize for being racist or retarded. Like that's the thing that people do. Like they do really ridiculous stuff and then they're like, I'm sorry. You know, the funny thing is I listen to my kids arguing all the time about shit that they do, and then I'm like, the amount of effort or the amount of energy that they spend being mad at people that they're playing games with, but they don't want to make money. Like, it's just, I don't understand the concept of even being mad at anything like that and wasting energy and tiring yourself out when it doesn't pay. Like, and these are the same people that they run with all the time. Like these are the same motherfuckers on the internet with all the time. Why are you expending energy that doesn't make you any money? I just will never get it. It makes me laugh, and they do it with such passion too. It is the craziest shit ever. Is that like a millennial thing? Is that like a thing with you millennials? That's what y'all do? It's not. They're not Zoomers. They're millennials. So you know, it's like, what is that like something that y'all do? Or y'all exhaust unnecessary energy on shit that don't matter? See, like I want more expressions like this. This actually works for me. I need to actually fix my brush because I think I made my brush density too low. And I think it's supposed to be dense watercolor, not transparent watercolor. Transparent watercolor is more for blending. Dense watercolor is like, oh no, dense watercolor would be more for blending. I feel like there should be more like face wrinkles. Are any of you guys working on any projects right now? If not, what the fuck? Every one of y'all should have a project you're working on right now. On several projects in school, see, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what you should be doing. With having several things you're working on. Working, like I noticed that working on just working on random shit isn't as fun as when you like you have something to hyper focus on, like a project. Hold on. Hold on. No. The thing is like another thing you got to work on is you got to start working on the thing that's gonna eventually turn into your money maker or whatever. Remember what I told y'all. You need 2 forms of passive income, and then you need a job. You need 2 forms of passive income, and you need a job. The job is to fund what will eventually become your career. Your passive income will always be passive. Like my book, once the physical copy of the book goes live, it will always be like that. That will always be there. It will never go away. It's always going to be something that will generate income for years to come. You know what I mean? Not the free version. The free version you can get right now by !book. But the physical copy will have more content in it, all that good shit, right? And it will be available for people that want to purchase this book for years to come. It will be passive. I want 2 forms of passive income, like 2 things that will always generate some kind of revenue. It doesn't have to be much, it's just passive. It could be literally $100 extra a month. It's passive. You know, it's money you don't have to think about. You know, like I got like donations because people are donating, which I think is still like the most awesome shit ever. You know, people are donating to help you get the physical copy done, right? And that's like a part of the passive income. My Patreon is a part of passive income. You know what I mean? But this is supposed to be the passive income. This, the toys, stuff like that. You know, my photography project, the actual purpose behind the photography project is supposed to be passive. But the thing is like the day job is funding all that. So I go to this job and I work it or whatever, and no matter how much I hate it or no matter how much, you know, it gets on my nerves, I understand that it is a means to an end. You know, it is literally meant to be a means to an end. And income is so that I can fund the other things that I want to do. It is not so I can work a job that I hate for the rest of my life. So there are people out there that get stuck in that situation and stuff like that. It's like you gotta be smarter than that. Like when you get older and you get your first job and stuff like that, don't get caught into that. Don't get caught in that lazy mode where it's like, well, I have a job, so you know. Like a lot of people get caught in that mode where it's like, I don't really need to put a rush on anything because I have a job. A job is literally you helping somebody else fund their dream. You're not building your dream. If you're not building your dream, trust me, when you get older, oh, you're gonna fucking hate it. And it doesn't actually sink in until you get to be in like your 40s or 50s, whatever, and you realize that you're working to live. It's not what you were designed to do, not what we were put on this planet to do. But a lot more people than you know spend their entire lives working for people, and they have this worker mentality where as long as they have a job, they're safe. You know what I mean? Or that they aren't cut out to have a career, or I don't have like talent. And you hear it all the time. You hear motherfuckers say the same shit all the time. I don't have talent. I don't have this and that. And it's like, oh, you just want to work for. You feel safe working for people. That's what it is. Like they feel safe having a job, you know, and getting paid. But the thing about a job is a job can disappear at any moment. And then when that job disappears and you don't have it anymore, you like go nuts because you don't know what you're gonna do with yourself, because now your security blanket is gone. The job you've had for years that you poured your heart into, that you thought you would die or retire doing, is gone. You haven't built up any kind of credentials for any other kind of job, and now you're scared. And lots of people do this kind of shit, and it's like, bro, like, there's always somebody that has warned you that that's not what you should be doing. But like a lot of people don't listen to that. It's like you're not meant to be working for somebody else. You're not meant to be working firsthand. If you're going to work, you're supposed to be building for yourself, not someone else. And a lot of people don't get that. I've never really had I've fucking always had the hardest time drawing pointy noses. You can always tell when I'm having a hard time drawing something because the lines get really shaky and they get dark. I call them stress lines. Well, the thing is, a lot of people, more people than you know, aren't built for success, which is sad to say. Everybody talks about how they're going to be successful, and everybody has dreams of being successful. But the problem is only certain people actually seek out being successful. Everybody else just does what the world tells them to do. They grow up, go to school, they get an education, they get out of school, they probably go to college, more school. They're gonna get out of college, they get in debt, they get their regular job, and then they live their life basically being whatever that regular job told them they should be. You know what I mean? That's pretty much, and then they feel like they lived a successful life because they've done exactly what the world expected them to do. Truly successful people figured out the formula a long time ago. The formula is to get other people's money in your pocket. Anything that has to do with business or anything that is business related, when you talk about it, it sounds really shitty, but it's like that's the same approach that all of these companies take to get you guys to buy their products and stuff like that. They make things that you really don't need, but you feel like you have to have in order to get you to buy things, which is why they purchase whenever somebody's small or somebody that has the brains but don't have money come up with something good, you always know that big companies take it and make it like they take it and make it the potential that it could have because they have the capital. They literally don't know anything about the product they're making. They just make it because they have money. They find people that do the stuff that they need, and then they have it made. You know what I mean? And they just sit back and watch the money roll in, where all the small time people and the poor people, they make the products. They make the things that the other poor people need because they've been poor and they're basically making things to get themselves out of a poor situation. And rich people see that and they're like, "Holy shit, this has unlimited potential. Let me go offer this poor person some money to make them not poor and take their idea and make me even more rich." That's generally what happens. You go to school, you learn how to do something extraordinary, but that extraordinary can't happen because you don't have money. You get some rich person that's like, "I think what you're doing is extraordinary. Let me help you do it." Or better, let me buy the technology and do what it is intended to do or what it could do. And you just take the money and not worry about it. You don't have to worry about where your next meal is coming from anymore. You don't have to worry about any of that. Let me worry about this. And then they take it and they do what it's intended to do. Like fucking we seen this in a movie a long time ago, and it's funny that the shit is becoming relevant nowadays. But like how you can take a person's likeness, right, and pretty much frame them for murder because technology has become so advanced that it literally can literally steal your likeness and put it on something, and the naked eye can't tell the difference. We have worked so long on trying to and the funny thing was the technology was created to preserve like movie stars and stuff like that passed. It was created for something completely different, but of course there's always a weaponized version of whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with like AI technology. Like the people are going nuts over AI technology and stuff like that, and they're suing the companies. And I was talking about this yesterday, like how people are getting they're suing the companies and all that stuff, and like nobody learned anything from the Facebook movie. Like literally, while you're suing them, they're making tons of money. And then if you win, they'll give you a ton of money, and the people that get the tons of money will be super happy because they'll be like, yeah, we stuck it to the man or whatever. But these people have already made billions, and they've already started a chain reaction that can't be stopped. But you've been quenched because you got money, and it didn't necessarily change anything. And that's why I'm always like telling other people, like, if you're not in that fight, if you're not in that legal battle, get your ass back to work. Because if you think that the AI invasion is going to stop, you're out of your mind. It's just gonna come in full swing. Like, and it's gonna come in a different way. You know what I mean? The companies are going to get a hold of it and do what it was actually intended to do. You know, and what's going to end up happening is right now people are using prompts, okay? And they prompt a person's name, right? And then that name is used to create art. They're going to make it so refined to where you just prompt a genre, and it will go out and seek anything in that genre and not a specific name, and make it, and that will give them the loophole that they need. And because these people have money, they'll lobby to get laws made where it's okay for them to do that. And you'll be like, this art looks like so-and-so's art. Yeah, but it's not. And my prompt doesn't use your name in my software. It's not going anywhere. And everybody knows that shit. Anybody that has a brain knows that technology will always find a way. And the only thing that you can do is learn to adjust to it. It's the same thing with like crypto and NFTs. NFTs is going to find a way. NFTs are literally the next step in monetizing digital art. Like it's not a good thing, and there's a lot of scams and shit involved, but it's not going anywhere. It's literally not going anywhere. The minute it takes over, then you're gonna have people scrambling to get on board with it, because when people start accepting it, and all your favorite artists are now not battling the fight for you, and they're joining it, because now it's like, okay, well, now I can make money from it. Now you're going to be behind because you were waiting for it to disappear. Just remember, you heard it here first. It ain't going nowhere. They're just going to find a way to make it where they're going to find a way to make it where the average person can monetize their likeness, or monetize it where they can make money, and then people will stop talking about it. Or other people will create something that will make those people angry, and they will stop focusing on that specific thing, and then it will just open the floodgates for what's next. Me, I'm just out here giving away shit so that people can get better at art, because what I got into art for was never to make money. And the funny thing is, I'm gonna say this, and you will always have people that will have a difference in opinion, and it's fine. But people that seek money from art tend to never make it. It's always the people that get into it for the love of it, that truly get into it for the love of it, and never expect to make money that end up making all the money. Because most people that do it, that come in being like, I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna become a comic book artist, and I'm gonna make millions of dollars and stuff like that, usually rarely do it because they get burnt out and they never continue. The people that just want to make cool shit to get, to get people to look at their stuff tend to work so hard to make their stuff look even cooler that they accidentally become something that people want. And then there are people that, like, again, like, you got the average chat room is filled with, the average art chat room is filled with artists, right? That are trying to become something. Of those people, 10% of you guys have what it takes to be a pro. And of that 10%, 10% of that will actually get the shot at being a pro. And the shitty part about that is, of that 10%, maybe 2 or 3% of you guys will actually become somebody that is like world famous and stuff like that. Everybody else will just do it until they get too old to do it, or they get bored with doing it or whatever, and then it's not on their radar anymore. Which is shitty, but it is literally the truth. You see so many people like streaming. Streaming came out, oh man, people were like, this is what I'm gonna do forever. It's like, I'm gonna do this like till the end of time. And then slowly but surely, people started realizing they couldn't make money from it, right? And I was under the impression that a lot of these people said that they weren't into streaming to make money, but then as soon as they couldn't make money, they didn't want to stream anymore. And it was, oh, the stress, this and that. Most stress that comes from streaming is self-induced. Because you put yourself in a situation where you treat it like a job, where in all actuality, you could literally stream as much as you want and as little as you want, and would be, and your community would be just fine with that. Shit, my shit fluctuates so much, it's ridiculous. But y'all are still here. The true ones are still here. Now, when I sit up and I talk about shit I did in the past, there are people that know what I'm talking about, and there are people that have no clue. Entropy, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. I think I'm getting into the weird point with art. I started out loving art, and then slowly wanted to do it for a career working toward being a 3D environmental artist, and now I'm questioning whether to keep art as a hobby or learn welding, or do both somehow. Do both. What do you mean? That's not even a question. Do both. Hey, Cole Wheeler. Anytime you have a question about whether or not you should do something, it's like, ask yourself, can I physically do both? If the answer is yes, then do both. You know what I mean? Art. Here's the thing with art as a career. If you're an artist, it's already a career. It just depends on what you want to do to make money from it. You know what I mean? You're an artist, people need art. It's also how you want to approach it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to do art as a career. I wanted to do art for the fun of it. But inevitably, people will ask you to do stuff for them. You know what I mean? Even like the book, for example, right? Here's a prime example. I'm making a book. I'm not a bookmaker. I don't make stuff. I give stuff away. I draw stuff, and I just kind of sit back and have fun with it. I draw all types of stuff. But if I make this book, it's going to make me money, which is going to make me, if I publish a book, I'm going to be a published artist, right? The name sounds like complicated, but it's not. It's just, I published something. You could literally publish a piece of crap, but it makes you a published artist. It's the same with tattooing. With tattooing, it's all about the status. If I go to a convention and I enter my tattoo into a convention competition and I win, I'm an award-winning artist. That makes my money go up. You know, if I go to a different country and I tattoo, I am now an international award-winning artist. If I'm in magazines, I'm an international and publicized award-winning artist. All of that stuff raises money. You keep your articles, you keep all this stuff, and so that people can see it, and it raises the value of what you sell, which is the same thing you sold before. It's just now you sold it all over the place. You know what I mean? It's the equivalent from going from Payless, for those of you guys that know what Payless is, it's a shoe store, to going to Foot Locker, which is another shoe store, one more expensive than the other. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally taking your brand. If you're an artist, you need to stop thinking, if you're an artist, you are the brand, not the shit that you make. You are the product, not the shit that you make. If you think that the shit that you make is the product, you are not ready to be successful. You are the product. You should treat yourself like you are the product. People are paying for what you do. They're paying for you and what you produce. You are the product. Yeah, because I think they still are around, but yeah, I don't know if there's too many Payless shoe stores left. But if you were ever a less fortunate kid that grew up in a less fortunate part of the town, you knew what Payless was, and you knew Payless had shoes that looked just as good as the expensive shoes, but they weren't the expensive shoes. But you could get nice shoes and you could get new shoes for cheap. They didn't last that long, but they were cheap. Get a pair of shoes for like $4 or $5. Kept your feet off the ground. Yeah, Pro Wings and XJ900s were the equivalents to Jordans, except for they weren't Jordans. And everybody that you know is on that name brand kick, and that's the thing that I'm getting at. Is like, you're the name attached to the brand. The goal is to make Ink One the thing that everybody wants in art. Fuck your art. I mean, like, realistically, like, fuck your art. It's not about your art. It's about the artist. Jim Lee could do anything, right? Because he did the footwork. It doesn't even matter what he does. It just matters that he did it now. That's what's important. I was watching a video the other day, Eddie Murphy, and any of you guys in here that know the show Good Times, right? You know the painting that they show on the show Good Times. There's a painting that they have. It is a very, very famous painting that a lot of people probably don't know unless you watch the show, but it's a very famous painting. They showed it at the beginning of every episode, you know? Yeah, the Ernie Burns original. You know that they sold the copy. Eddie Murphy owned both of them, the copy and the original. The copy sold for $16 million like a year ago, and he still owns the original. That is a goal. That's one fucking painting. One painting. One. And most people don't even know who the fuck Ernie Burns is. You know what I mean? That's what you want. You want something you do to be so iconic it lasts the test of time. But y'all are so busy trying to peddle smut or not smut, like shit that doesn't matter, that you don't think about the thing that's going to last. Like, that's what I'm thinking about when it comes to tattoos. Is like a style that lasts the test of time. When I'm gone, the style will remain, or the thing that I do will remain. I don't give a shit about what I'm doing right now. I want my impression to remain. Like Joe Madureira. Joe Madureira, once he's gone, he will still be a prominent figure for years to come, centuries to come in comic books. When you speak comic books, his name will always come up. You know what I mean? Always. For anybody that cares about comic books and knows about comic book art and all that stuff. Well, even though when the media changes and all that, the name Joe Madureira, the name Todd McFarlane, all of these names will come up forever. This is what you are trying to do. This is what you should be trying to do. Instead of whining about AI taking over and stuff like that. Can't take over if you're not famous. I hate to break it to you, but if you are not famous, you are not getting prompted. Don't fight yourself. It's not your fight. That fight is for the people that are famous and the people that actually do the hard work. You're not it, and they're not coming after you. Like, just stop. It's the same thing I used to tell motherfuckers in tattooing when they complain about people stealing their tattoo work. It's like, first off, you're stealing the artwork that you used to make that tattoo, because 9 times out of 10 you're not a photographer, or 9 times out of 10 you didn't produce that art. Someone brought it to you, you did the tattoo, you did a really good job at the tattoo, but the art's not yours. Get over yourself. You're whining about somebody stealing your stuff, and you ain't. Like, they're whining about people stealing art, right? But it ain't even their art that they're stealing. Like, the biggest and the most funniest thing I've ever seen when it comes to like tattoo art being stolen was this guy named Billy Vegas. His name was Billy Vegas. He was on one of those tattoo reality shows, right? And the shit that was funny was he used to put his birth date or the time he was born in people's tattoos, which is like a no-no. You don't inject your own personal shit into someone's tattoo. But it's like, whatever. That's beside the point. The point was, like, later on, like he had a nice little following because he was on TV, and you know how that shit goes, right? He was in a rage because he did a portrait of an old Polaroid camera, and someone copied the portrait, and he was losing his shit. Like, he was like going in on social media about this guy, and the person that took the portrait of the camera that he used to make his tattoo popped into his chat and was like, "You stole my portrait," and fucked him up because he was going in on this guy for stealing his idea for a tattoo when he stole the portrait. It's like, that's the same thing. That's equivalent to a bigger, more famous artist stealing your work and people snapping on you like you stole it from that person because they're famous. Because they're like, why would a famous person steal something? Like, why wouldn't they? They're famous. More than likely, people are going to believe that that famous person did it over the poor person because the poor person is poor. Like, like Walt Disney stealing mouth design. Like, the idea behind it is like, rich people don't have to steal. That doesn't mean they don't steal. They have money. They don't necessarily have ideas. So if they have an idea, if you have money and they have an idea, I mean, if they have money and you have an idea and they offer you money and you don't take it, they'll just take your design, or they'll find someone to copy it and change it just enough to where they won't get in trouble. And that's kind of how business works. And a lot of motherfuckers a lot of people just don't really, they can't handle it. I guess like it's like they don't understand that that's business, and your sugar-coated way of looking at business is the reason why you're not rich. Business is cutthroat. It is a dog-eat-dog world, and if you want to be in it, you got to stop being nice. You know what I mean? Like, I get you don't want to be a bad person and you don't want to do bad shit, but someone's gonna do bad shit to you. You have to step on people to get where you want to be in business. Especially in art, you don't have to steal people's work, but you definitely have to. You're definitely going to have to outdo somebody or undercut somebody or something like that to get people to see you. After a while, you're gonna get tired of being looked over, and you're gonna actually start doing the shit that you need to do. You don't want to be ruthless, but eventually you're just gonna be like, I'm tired of seeing all these people that don't deserve the follows they have on Instagram having the follows, and I'm not. I need to start doing the thing that they're doing, because fuck this. And that's when you realize that, oh, so that's how they do it. That's why this person is famous. Like, you do whatever it takes to get you where you need to be, and then you can check your morality when you have what you want. The people that are morally ridden and don't realize that sometimes you're going to end up screwing someone over to get where you need to be. The people that say that the people that refuse to be that way, they want to stay true to themselves. They stay small time and they never get noticed. And if that's what makes them feel good, then I mean, it's fine. But the bigger people, anytime you read a success story or anything like that, like McDonald's, stuff like that, like it always has a fucked up ass, like it's always a fucked up story, because you never really thought that, well, why would this rich person do that? It's like, that's how they got rich. They screwed somebody over to get rich. And it's usually the case. You think people say shit like eat the rich. If you really know how rich people operate, the funny thing is rich people are poor people with money. Like that's the truest statement I've ever made. Rich people are just poor people with money. They literally think the same exact way. Like if you would rob and steal, so would a rich person. They just do theirs on a bigger scale. You know what I mean? That's why if you want to be good at something, you don't make it about money, because you stop doing what you truly want to do in lieu of making a profit. If you really want to stand out and make your work everlasting, it can't be about making money. Money is inevitable. People are going to pay you for what you do if you're good enough. So you don't have to hyper focus on making money. It's just inevitable. If you're that good, people are going to be like, I want to pay you to do this. You focus on being that good, and people beat down the door to get you to do stuff. They will come to you. That's how you want it to be. You want people coming to you and being like, I would like to pay you to do a certain thing. Or they come to you and be like, hey, do you do this? Do you take commissions for this? How much would you charge me to do this? And again, if someone comes to you and they're like, hey, how much would you charge me? And you tell them how much you would charge, and they're like, that's too expensive. They can't afford you. Don't bend them. Because you need money. Money is never that important. The minute you sacrifice for one, that person is they're gonna bring you so much business. Every person they bring you is gonna be just like them. They're gonna be bargain shoppers, and you're gonna be like, man, I can't make any money, and you blame it on other stuff, and it's like, no, you keep offering people discounts and working deals because you don't know the value of your work. You don't know the value of your shit. Of course, people are going to treat you like that, and whose fault is that? You have to start looking at things in a way that's going to benefit you. The other thing is, being real or not selling out doesn't pay the bills. If you're an artist, you should be on sellout autopilot, because you're selling out anyways. The general definition of selling out is doing something you normally wouldn't do for money. That is an art career in a nutshell. 90% of the stuff you do in art you would not do unless it was for money. You are selling out. The other thing is, stop listening to what people tell you about your artwork. Do some art that pisses people off. You get noticed a lot faster when you do art that doesn't make people happy, because people are noticing. The idea is to get people to notice your work. The fastest way to get someone to notice your work, do something that doesn't make them happy, because they don't want you to do it. They want you to stop. And they will give you all the publicity you need by trying to make you stop doing it. That's why a lot of these streamers and stuff, they revel at the bad publicity, because even though it's bad publicity, it's publicity. You can weather the storm. You're more popular than when you left off. People forget nowadays. Motherfuckers' attention span is short as fuck, so you don't have to worry about being irrelevant or being erased. Canceling or cancel culture does not exist. It only exists because you stop doing it. People cannot cancel you. You cancel yourself. So if people start giving you hate for something you're doing and stuff like that, do it more. Because I guarantee you there are people out there that want to see what you're doing. Doesn't matter how shitty it is, how that person feels about it or how it affects their life. It's just business. That's how that kind of shit works. It's sad, but it's true. That's when you realize that, or you will understand. It sucks, but you know, business. I like the way this lipstick and stuff looks on her face. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, guys. I'm just kind of drawing faces. What games are you guys excited for now? Because I'm not really excited for anything. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming out, but I don't really have anything that I'm just like, oh my god, this. Unless they announce the new Monster Hunter, then I'm gonna be like, holy shit, because I know that the new monsters are coming out, but it's like fucking monster from Monster Hunter World. I'm excited to fight it, but it's like, you know, I'm waiting for them to announce the new Monster Hunter, which, if I'm not mistaken, either they're gonna announce a new expansion or this Monster Hunter, or they're going to make an announcement that a new Monster Hunter's coming out next year, which will reignite my fire for Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Rise, or all things Monster Hunter. Do I want to leave her hair blonde? I do like super dark hair, but that would make her look completely different. How do you get started tattooing? Did you always knew that you want to do that? I hated tattooing until I started doing it. I hated tattooing until I actually started doing it. I will tell you how I got into tattooing. I got into tattooing out of necessity because when 9/11 happened, I had an actual good career, or a good job. I won't call it a career. It was a good job. I made about 70 grand a year. I was a manager at the Mandalay Bay for a banquet setup. I could have stayed there. But again, it's a job, right? And you don't, again, this is where my revelation came in. It's a job. Something happened that threatened my job because they started laying people off because, well, 9/11 happened and the like tourism suffered for a little bit, and conventions basically came to a grinding halt. And because I was a management, we had management meetings and they basically were like, you guys got to cut staff by X amount of percent. People that I worked with for years, I have to fire. You know, and on top of all that, you are at risk of losing your job because you are top, and they usually go for the most paid people first, you know. So I'm like, damn, if I lose my job, what the fuck is gonna happen, you know, because, you know, I'm like, this is what I do for a living, and if I don't have this job, I can't afford the living that I have because I've gotten accustomed to living that much money, you know, to live. What am I gonna do with my kids, all this stuff? You start thinking about all that shit, right? You know, and like, it was dead, and I was like, man, I might get fired, and if I get fired or I get laid off, I'm not gonna recover. And it was at that moment that I told myself, I need to do something else. I need to start looking for something else that's guaranteed, that can weather the storm. You know what I mean? Because you never know what's going to happen. But you just never know what's going to happen, right? So I started thinking about the skills that I had, and quite naturally, the only skill that I had was the art. The only real skill. It was the only real skill that I could take and use it to build off of, because I was an artist. I was like, well, I can do art, but I started looking at what kind of art I wanted to do, and I was like, well, I always wanted to be a comic book artist, but like thinking about all the shit you had to do to get into comic books, I was like, I would never be able to do that. I could make one on my own, but then I got to sit there and create it and all of that shit, and then hope people buy it. I didn't have any faith that I could create anything that people would buy, because I was lazy. I thought about doing graphic design, but graphic design required school, and I don't like drawing for people. I hate having to. The worst thing in the world about graphic design is trying to put someone else's idea on paper when drawing for a non-artist is frustrating, because they don't know what they want. They just know exactly what they don't want. And because they're paying, what can you really say? They're paying you, so you have to do it, you know? And in the past, when I did shit like that, it would frustrate the hell out of me, because I'm like, yo, I'm definitely not the do what people tell me type. I just can't, like, I'm not stubborn, but it's like, I'm not very good at taking direction and making it awesome, you know? So it's just built into people, you know what I mean? So that went out the window. You know, and like, I was thinking about all the other stuff that I could do, but I couldn't do any of it. Digital artist was not on the table because I didn't do digital art. I had Photoshop and I toyed around with it and stuff like that, but it was more so for tattoo purposes, right? Or not like that, but that was later on. But at that time, I never did anything with it. I made a couple t-shirts or something using the font thingy, but it was like, I didn't know Photoshop. I didn't know Photoshop. So I couldn't be a digital artist. And that was right around the time Ink Master and all that stuff started becoming like a thing, right? It wasn't big, but like, you would hear about shows like Miami Ink and stuff like that. So my sister had a friend, his name was Styles, and he wasn't very good at tattooing, but I didn't know that at the time. He wasn't very good at drawing, but I didn't know that at the time. But he was okay at tattooing specific things. Again, I didn't know very much about tattooing, so the dynamic of what I knew about tattooing could probably fit, you know, on the tip of my pinky. But this guy tattooed my sister, and the lettering looked pretty good, so I figured he knew how to tattoo. So I asked him to teach me how to tattoo. I'm like, I'm an artist, I can draw. Would you teach me how to tattoo? He looked at my art and he was like, yeah, I'll teach you. He was like, but if I teach you, you have to work for me. And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do that shit. So he was supposed to teach me how to tattoo. He told me a whole bunch of bullshit that wasn't true about like how tattoo art gets. Because I was like, I didn't like American traditional, and that's what he did, right? And I was like, well, how do you do other kind of art? And they're like, well, he's like, you submit it to this place and they approve it, which is why everybody does American traditional, because you have to get it approved. If you do something that's not approved, you can get in trouble. I believed all this shit, right? Come to find out, he was only telling me that shit so that I wouldn't like run off and do something else. Regardless, fast forward a couple months, I had let him tattoo me. He did one tattoo and it came out okay, and that tattoo made me want more tattoos, like most people. That was I was working out, and that tattoo made that arm look way more buff than it ever did, right? So now I'm like, shit, if I can get myself tattooed up, I could be super buff, because this makes me look buff. In any case, I hadn't learned how to tattoo yet. You know, he was showing me shit and everything, and I didn't pick up on none of it. He told me to buy equipment, told me to use specific things to do tattooing and stuff like that, you know, to like keep this on and all that. And I listened, you know, I did what he told me to do, but I never actually did a tattoo. I had all this equipment, and I let him do another tattoo for me. And it has become known as the Flaming Chicken, because it was supposed to be a phoenix, but the guy couldn't do my artwork because he didn't know how to draw. So he didn't know about needle depth, or he didn't know anything about style. He didn't know anything about different line weights. Anyways, I drew this tattoo and he tattooed on me, and I told myself it was good, like most people do, but it wasn't. Shitty. But in any case, he put it on me, and then for some reason the motherfucker just disappeared. Like, when I say disappeared, I mean like off the face of the planet. From what I heard, he was wanted and he was running from the law, so he ended up leaving, like most stories of tattoo artists at that time. And that was when the show Miami Ink came out. Now again, I have tattoo equipment now, but I don't know anything about tattooing. The first tattoo that I did was on my sister, and I botched the shit out of it. Like, I think I did everything bad you could possibly do in a tattoo in one tattoo. It was horrible. In any case, I did it, was nervous, like nothing went right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, fucking this shit I thought it was gonna be easy. This shit is not easy, and it's just tracing. And I'm like, I'm fucking losing my mind right now. Like, why can't I do this? And it's just tracing. The show Miami Ink came out. I'm watching the show Miami Ink. I'm watching tattoo videos on YouTube, trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. And I realized you can't really learn anything from tattoo videos because they're not really tattooing like the way you want to learn, and everything is hands-on with tattooing, right? I'm watching Miami Ink, and I see for the first time them use stencil paper. Stencil paper is what you use to transfer the image from the paper that is on to the body. I did not know anything about this because, again, the guy's styles never really told me anything. You know what I mean? So I didn't know what that shit was. So I see them pull out stencil paper, and this dude does like a tattoo that was not American traditional. And I'm like, how the fuck did he do that? And my brothers and everybody was laughing at me because they were like, they're all not tattoo artists, right? But they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, how do you do that? How did he do that custom work on that person? And they're like, stencil paper. Like, it's called carbon paper, but they call it stencil paper in tattooing. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And they're all laughing because I'm the tattoo guy, even though I haven't tattooed anybody, my sister, right? And they're like, that's what you use to transfer image to skin. And I'm like, so you could transfer any image to skin using that paper? They're like, yeah, you just trace the image, you put the paper underneath it, and you trace the image, and it goes on the back of the paper. I knew this, but I never put two and two together because I was using it for something different in art. It was how I would make copies of something before if you were poor and you couldn't go to the Kinko's and make a copy, you would make your own copies by putting graphite. You would insert graphite underneath your drawing, put it on top of a blank sheet of paper, and trace it. Same fucking concept. Blew my mind. And it was at that point that I realized that I wanted to do tattooing for a living. And I was like, I'm about to be the best tattoo artist I could be. That's it. But again, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So I went in blind, started trying to do shit, fucked up a lot of people, you know what I mean? And then at a certain point, I was like, if I'm going to do this, I need to stop and learn. I actually need to stop tattooing and learn. So I told myself I wasn't going to tattoo anymore. I was going to learn, which caused a bigger problem. Because now you got to find an apprenticeship. That's how you get into tattooing, to answer the question. You get an apprenticeship so you can learn from an actual tattoo artist. It's like the other trade, right? Problem is getting an apprenticeship is like pulling fucking teeth because tattoo artists are all rock stars and they're assholes. Well, from what I've learned, you know, and I got scammed my first apprenticeship out of $5,000 by this guy named fucking the Dragon Master. His name was J. Rob Weber. fucking Dragon Master scammed me out of $5,000. Skipped town. I didn't get my license. I didn't get any. I lost $5,000, and I almost gave up on tattooing because I was like, this is some fucking bullshit. I don't want to have to do this. Like, if this is what tattooing is like, I went to different shops with my portfolio. These motherfuckers. I had a guy named Clean Rock One that has been on several seasons of Ink Master. Basically throw my portfolio at me and was like, get out of here, people. Nobody wants that. You need to do new school. You know, like, nobody wants to shit your drawing, do new school. Now, granted, I'm doing the same stuff I was doing now. It's just I didn't know how to tattoo it. So, just for context, this is how I tattoo. This is my style of tattooing. Let me find something that's like more me. My style would be more like this. This is generally me tattooing. You know, like the style. It's kind of like Art Nouveau, but Illustrator style, whatnot. You know, very, right? I admire Japanese style art as far as the flow, but like I like the way Art Nouveau and that kind of art feels. You know, when it comes to drawing, and plus you can do a lot with pictures in that style. You know, it goes very well, but like I don't really have a name for my style. It's just the way that I draw. People want to label your style with a name or whatever, but a lot of times you don't necessarily have a name for it. It's just the way you draw, especially nowadays, like anything else. So, you know, like I didn't really necessarily know how to do any of this stuff. And when I finally got into a shop, the shop owner basically was like, you can, like, your tattoos are shit, but you can draw, so you'll be good. You know what I mean? And they let me work there. And I was basically doing shit like this. It's just basically like one-offs. It's basically the equivalent to Tattoo Flash. Is basically like art that you draw and you basically do it a billion times. In my shop, we had a thing we did where we basically took something that we hated and we drew it, we liked it. I didn't like Valentine hearts. They look like butts. But this is like, I would draw one of these a week. And I would try to make something different. And it would help me get my mind out of the box. And it would also help me basically be sane when I'm doing tattooing, because I hated tattoo. I hated the shit that people were asking me for because it was just all the same shit you seen on the internet. Till one day I had an epiphany and I was like, I don't have to draw what they asked me for. I just have to draw the idea. Meaning, I could draw, if someone asked me for Story of Persephone, which I love this piece, which is why I always show it. Someone asked me for the Story of Persephone, I don't have to draw what they give me. I can do my own version of it. And when I realized that, that was when I started getting hungry and wanting to be great at tattooing. I wanted to make great tattoo art because tattooing was the easy part. I had learned how to tattoo. I learned how to put ink in the skin. I learned how to color blend, all that stuff, but the art wasn't there. Once I actually learned that, I was in there. And then I could charge whatever I wanted and people wouldn't complain and stuff like that, because now I do custom work. I don't do walk-in shit. I literally design my own tattoos. I have clients that come to me for my designs. I sit at home and I draw designs all the time that I will eventually be able to tattoo someday. Even though I sit up and I draw like the stuff you guys see me draw, I draw a lot of stuff because I'm an artist. I can draw. The stuff that I draw does not matter. It is whether or not the stuff that I draw isn't as important as the ability to draw. Like this, I love this. I'm gonna redo this someday, or I'm gonna update it, because I really do love this concept. But this was early on, and I redo a lot of my early on concepts. I need to fix her face, right? Which, I mean, this goes right in there. Now I can actually go back and, like, I've been practicing faces for a while and stuff like that, and I could actually go back and make this face, you know, look the way it's supposed to look. It's supposed to be half dead, half, but I was throwing design together and thinking like if I show it to the client, I can update it later. You know, I'm like, I do basically all my own designs. I do sleeves, I do half sleeves, I do full backs, full body, like anything that's going to generate a lot of money. I don't do small one-offs anymore. I do big shit, you know, and everything is about the way it flows to the body. Even something like this will actually fit a body. It will look beautiful, but trying to find somebody that can actually pay for this and or sit and get the whole thing is ridiculous, because you just ain't gonna find that. Plus, you know, dragons are kind of like, everybody gets the dragon. So if you don't do big and outstanding, a lot of people aren't gonna be on board with getting it, because it's like, fuck that. Like, there's a million people that have dragons, right? Why do I want a dragon? This is an example of a sleeve I'm continuing. A person got this stuff that's on there done, and I was basically drawing and adding to it so she could have a full sleeve. She didn't understand what a full sleeve was. She thought a full sleeve was basically like from the top of her shoulders to the bottom of her wrist, but not wrapping around. And I was like, a full sleeve is like your entire arm is covered in art. It's a sleeve. When you put your arm into a shirt, the sleeve covers your whole arm. And she was like, oh, I thought it was only be the front. And I'm like, no, it literally wraps all the way around. The stuff she had there was, she got the tattoo done by another artist, but the art that's on her arm is mine. I was supposed to do the tattoo. She went to somebody else. So she came to me to finish the arm. So all the stuff that's drawn in is me finishing what somebody else started, and it will wrap completely around. She wanted a tiger. She wanted, you know, the tattoo is going to actually look really good whenever it gets done. But like, that's the thing, you know, like that was how I got into tattooing. You know what I mean? But technically, in a nutshell, if you want to get into tattooing, you have to find a mentor to apprentice you, so that you can learn the things that aren't based on just art. You are going to pay them. You are going to basically be their bitch until they get done with you, and then you can charge people hundreds of dollars an hour to do whatever it is that they want done. You know, it's literally how much you want to put into it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, if you don't want to put anything in it, you won't get anything out of it. If you put a lot in it, you will be. If you can take, I've said it before, but I don't think people actually take me seriously. If you can take 10% of what you learn in digital and apply it to tattooing, you can be rich. Because what digital artists do has always been mind-blowing to me, right? Even though I'm a digital artist now, like, if I could take 10% of what I know about digital art and apply it to my tattoos, which is what I'm basically doing, I'll be rich. My goal is to be able to make tattoos as crisp and clean as the digital art that I do. That's the goal. This has nothing to do with that. This is basically for the book, the physical copy of the book we're working on. I made a free book for my community. You can check it out right now with !book in the chat. The book is called Friends Don't Make Friends Draw Waifus. And my chat wanted me to make a physical copy of the book. So all the art and stuff that I've been doing lately is for the physical copy of said book, which is going to have double the pages in the digital release. And those pages are going to be consisting of all the stuff that my chat and my community has requested over the past few years of while I was building this book, including these faces that I'm working on. The faces are for a section in the book, and well, yeah, it's for a section in the book. It's for a face challenge in the book, and I didn't have any examples of this face challenge in the book. So this is me actually finishing that chapter or adding to that chapter. Oh crap, I know I'm gonna do that. I didn't necessarily need to do it. I just felt like if I'm going to produce a physical copy and charge money, again, I've never made anything to sell other than tattoos. I never sold my art. I never cared about selling my art. Selling my art wasn't something that was on my mind. My friends were the ones that pushed me to make something to sell, because they're like, why would you give this away when you can make money from it? You know, I never really, you know what I mean? I grew up poor. I wish I could have gotten stuff for free. The reason why I made the book was for two reasons. One, because I don't like drawing waifus. I don't like drawing anime stuff. It's art though. It is art, so it's like whatever, but I don't really like to draw stuff like this. It never really interested me, right? It just didn't. But I'm an artist. I should be able to draw whatever. So I decided that I'll make a book and put all the information that I used to draw women so that y'all can learn how to do it. And I would give it away for free, so I wouldn't get people coming in being like, I can't afford the book. So I'm asking you to draw it because I can't afford to buy your book. Well, free is free. You can afford to buy free because it's free. You know what I mean? And that was my mentality, was like, I know there are going to be people that are going to say they can't afford it. So if I make it free, they will get the knowledge, and they will not. I will feel okay with telling them, no, I'm not drawing your shit anymore. Here's a book with everything you need. And then I put it on them, because my thing is, if you want to get somebody, my mentality has always been, if you want to get somebody to stop asking you to draw shit, draw it for them. It's no one in here can argue that point. If you want someone to stop asking you to draw something for them, draw it, and they will stop asking you because you've drawn it. If you draw it enough, you don't ever have to draw it for anybody else, because you just showed them all the stuff you drew before, and it pacifies them. But what's better than that? Giving them the ability to draw it and putting it on them. That's literally what you do. You give them the ability to do what you do, and you don't hinder them doing it. You would say, okay, look, I know you want to do this, and you know what? I agree. You should be able to do this. Here is everything I know about how to do that specific thing. Have fun. There you go. Hence the invention of Friends Don't Make Friends Draw Waifus. It was supposed to be a meme. It turned into something real. Me and my community now have something that we can all sit up and say, you know, if you know this community, you are a part of this thing being made. I'm thankful for you guys pushing me to do it. As much as I hated doing it when I started, I actually love it now. Yeah, it literally does have all the information that I use when I draw stuff. So when you watch me draw, everything that I have in this book is what I think. It is literally not to teach you how to draw, it is to tell you how I think when I draw. If it helps you, great. You know, but it's not designed to be a how-to book. Even though some people feel like it is and stuff like that, great for them. If they learn something, great for you. But it's not designed, it wasn't designed to teach you anything. It was designed to give you a physical or a visual idea of what my brain thinks like when I'm drawing whatever characters I'm drawing, like whatever female characters. What goes through my brain when I'm doing each part of the human body. You know, the female human body. And then the gallery in the back is literally just what you guys asked me to draw. I used to tell people they could request drawings, and I would draw them. And every waifu that I have in the book was literally a drawing that someone requested. And people don't realize that I didn't draw all these weird waifus and stuff that you see. I never, these were not my ideas, except for this one. And I redrew that. But the majority of these ideas were something that people asked before. Even the pregnant waifu thingy, they asked for the fairy they asked me for the elf, and I just was like, it'd be funny if I made it pregnant, because why not? People don't draw pregnant waifus. They just don't. So I was like, that'd be funny if I accidentally snuck in pregnant women every now and again. So every now and again, I'll make somebody pregnant. You know, just for the shit of it. Because why not, right? Pregnant women can be pretty. That's why I have that page in the book. Like, I don't know why I wanted to do this, but I love the way that looks. Like, I don't know. I love this image. I literally love this image. And it's perfect. It's the perfect image for like size matters. Cause you know, people don't really think, when they think size, they think fat or skinny, not pregnant. You know what I mean? But yeah. Plus I love her facial expression. I love the expression on her face. I don't know how to move the damn book up and down, but whatever. What is this button? Oh, let's show. Weird. I wonder what that's for. Oh, it's without the. Never mind. In any case, this is just this. Like I said, this is for the expressions, the facial expressions. But I'm gonna create another one of those large canvases with a shit ton of things on it, just like the waifus. This will just be a canvas of faces, a shit ton of faces, doing all kind of weird stuff, making all kind of. Because I don't ever give my faces any kind of expressions when I draw waifus, and I'm like, I never really noticed that I never did that. I never noticed that I never gave my faces expressions. Like, that's kind of dumb. You gotta have expressions on your faces. You can't just have that glazed over look or that smiley, bubbly look and stuff like that. You gotta have actual expression. So that was when I started realizing that I need to practice more of that kind of stuff.
I'm sorry.
How do you get this? Now, in any case, let's get back to it, guys, girls. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm also gonna, like, this side of the page is gonna be covered in like regular faces, and then the other side, like once we start getting further along in the thing, it's gonna have weird shit. I want to gradually go into like, well, stuff that's not in faces. I want to do more than just human faces. I want to have more than just regular old human faces. I want to have weird shit, because that's pretty much what you're aiming for when you're drawing waifus. You're not drawing regular stuff. You're drawing weird shit. I'm gonna need that weird shit. So that's what I'm gonna be leaning into eventually, is just three-eyed monsters and all that kind of stuff. Or girls like doing really weird stuff, or wearing really weird clothing, because that's what waifus do. Like, all the steps that I do when I draw my waifus are the same steps I draw the same steps that I use when I draw everything. you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Now that I watched that movie Megan, every time I start drawing and I get to like a certain point in my drawing, I start thinking, damn, this shit looks like that doll. You know what's funny? Have you ever thought about something that you draw that's so insignificant, but you realize you had a hard time drawing it when you were younger? Spikes in proportion or in perspective was something that I would always have a hard time drawing. Like what I mean by in perspective is like, you know, like perspective, like the angle. I could not draw shit like this when I was younger to save my life. It would take me so long. Thanks for the follow, I appreciate it. It would take me so long to draw stuff like this. Like the little things that take me about 15 seconds now used to take me like 2 to 3 days to draw. I shit you not. And I cannot, when I think back now, I'm like, how was I not able to draw that? I keep trying to remember why I had such a problem with drawing it. And I can't recall why I had such a problem with drawing it, but I did. And I'm always like, man, I remember when I thought I would never ever be as good as my art people that I was a fan of, because I was like, they went to school and because back then there was no one to tell you that all you do is draw. All you do is practice and you'll be good. There was literally no one to tell you that. You know, because you had a teacher in school, and the fucking teacher in school wasn't really, they were doing fucking curriculum shit. They didn't really give a fuck what you were doing as long as you weren't drawing dicks, you know, stuff like that. They wanted you to do, you know, they wanted you to learn the fundamentals, but they didn't know how to teach the fundamentals. Because I had a teacher that just didn't, he would always put the bowl of fruit in front of you and be like, practice this and whatever, anything to make the grade, right? But the thing was like, when you're learning how to do art, grades are important. If you think you need to go to college to be an artist, you don't. College has benefits, right? But if you don't have the money to go, you don't need to go to college. It's not a need to do thing. You know, And a lot of people get caught in that loop where they go to college thinking that they're going to come out and be a professional artist, and like you're just going to be in debt. Your portfolio is all that matters when it comes to art. People don't give a shit about your grades. They don't give a shit about your degree. None of that stuff really matters. All that matters is whether or not you can do what they ask you. You know what I mean? People can argue shit until they're blue in the face. So you get out and you'll see. Well, the thing with working on basic shapes and stuff like that is once you get past the point where you're actually working on basic shapes, you have to learn how to apply them. It's not about learning how to draw the spheres and stuff like that. It's how they apply to real art. Once you actually start drawing real art, you realize that those spheres and everything were more to get your brain used to what 2D looks like, or 3D looks like on a 2D surface. That's what you're trying. The stuff that you practice and the things that we call fundamentals and stuff like that are things that you are doing to get your brains to work with your hands. You're just giving your hands the tools it needs to be comfortable with the stuff that is drawing. If you see me catching this and my hands are moving fast in certain areas it's not, because I'm making motions that my hands have always had a problem with doing versus other motions where my hands just kind of float. You know, that's what fundamentals are. That's why you practice drawing spheres and stuff like that. You ever notice that some people draw left to right? Some people draw right to left. Some people draw top to bottom, bottom to top. Some people draw more edgy, like curvy, like edgy, like pointy type art. Some people draw more curvy type art. Like that's all what you learn when you're doing fundamentals. It's just basically teaching your hands how to move a way that's comfortable. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing with the spheres and stuff like that. The spheres and things like that aren't really teaching you anything to do with the actual drawing. You would think that it's teaching you depth and stuff like that. As you get further along, you realize that there are rules, right, to drawing. But until you understand that the whole point of drawing is to use the rules how you see fit, you will never grow as an artist. Because when you first start out, everything is structured. Everything you do is the way the rules say you should do it. Everything is based on the way the rules tell you should do it. And you do it like subconsciously, right? Even though people tell you to be like free and think outside the box and stuff like that, subconsciously when you draw a hand, you want the hand to look like a real human hand. You don't want to draw a hand with 3 fingers. You don't want to draw a hand that's like weird, and you don't want to draw anything that doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like when you start off. It's not until you actually seek out drawing that kind of stuff that you grow as an artist. It's when you stop caring about things looking pretty or looking nice, and you just care about them looking cool to you. Like that's what a lot of people get stuck at when they first start doing fundamentals, is they suck the fun out of it. Like fundamentals, and fun is in the name. The entire practice that you're doing is meant to be fun. If it's not fun, you probably shouldn't be doing it. It's the same thing with human studies, not real human studies, just the study of humans. You can study humans and still draw them funny looking or weird or not like a human face. You're studying the way a human face goes together. How you decide you want to put it together is on you. The study is just so that you can know basically what it's supposed to look like, and then you draw it the way you want to look. Everything that you do in art, if you're not doing realism, is going to be the opposite of what you learned. You're going to be doing things. You're going to be drawing people with faces and stuff that don't meet the standard or whatever. You're going to draw people with features that don't really match up and that are weird. And the weirder they are, the more popular the piece is going to be. You know what I mean? Like the idea is to get out. Like that's the thing that I talk about in my book. The idea is to understand that everything that you're learning is so that you can pick and choose what you want to do. You're learning the rules so you can basically break the rules. You literally want to learn everything that you can so that you can be like, I don't want to do that. It's the same thing with tattooing. In tattooing, you learn all the stuff you need to learn about tattooing so that you can be like, I don't want to do that. I don't like American traditional. I don't like this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do black and gray. That's literally why you learn it. You learn it so you do not have to do it. You choose what you want to do, and people will be okay with what you do simply because you whatever it is that you're doing, you do well. No one's gonna say anything about how I do what I do, because I have catalogs and years of drawing showing that I can actually draw what I want. So if I'm drawing my hand and it's fucked up, it means that I meant to draw it like that. Doesn't matter if it looks good to you, doesn't matter if it looks good to someone else. It's how I meant to draw it. And that's pretty much what you're doing. You're validating yourself for other people. And you're also teaching yourself to be able to translate what emotion you're trying to get across in your piece to other people. But before you do that, you have to learn how to translate it to yourself. You have to learn how to draw and make yourself happy. You have to learn how to just let go of trying to do structured stuff and make everything you do not make sense. Because when it doesn't make sense, it will make sense. And I know that just sounds weird, but trust me, when it stops making sense, it will make sense. Because most of the stuff that you do that doesn't make sense is the stuff that people will consider to be art. You have to try making art that doesn't make sense. But it has to be something you want to do, not something that you're forced to do. You have to actually start doing art that isn't forced. Because people tell you you're supposed to do that. If I'm sitting up here telling you you're supposed to practice, you shouldn't be listening to that. You practice when you want to practice, and you practice what you want to practice, you practice how you want to practice. Because that's when it's fun. I'm drawing faces because I want to draw faces, because I want to get better at drawing faces. Why? Because I have fun doing stuff like this now. Before, I couldn't stand it, so I just didn't do it. And that's pretty much how that kind of stuff works. It's like you don't have to do what people tell you should do. You know what I mean? You're gonna get a whole bunch of people telling you that you're doing stuff wrong. Your hand looks a little funny. You should draw like Andrew Loomis. You should do it like this and that. You draw the way you want to draw, because that is going to be your style. You will tell yourself when you need to learn how to draw things better, because you want your own art to look better, and you want your own art to look a specific way. When you start learning how to draw like other people, like when you start copying other people's art, like when you find your favorite artists and you want to draw like them and stuff like that, that's your brain telling you that's the kind of look you want for your art. Eventually you're going to be like, I don't want my art to look exactly like theirs. I just want that look. I want that feel. I want people to like my art because it looks like this. Eventually you're going to stray away from making your art look exactly like your idols, and you'll start making it more like yours. You'll have a hybrid version of what you originally thought you wanted. And it takes a long time to realize that, but you'll hear a lot of stuff when you're growing as an artist. But one of the things that I used to struggle with, that I always like to pass on, is when you hear people say things about art, it's all in how you interpret it. If I would have been able to interpret everything is made up of basic shapes better, I would not have spent so much time trying to learn how to do art. I spent so much time trying to learn how to do art and get better at it because I didn't understand what the people were trying. My friends would tell me everything is made up of basic shapes, and I thought they were lying. I thought they were just making shit up. Because I'm like, I don't really see them doing basic shapes, but when you get to a point where you can draw, you skip steps. So even if you're watching me right now build this face, I'm skipping steps. There's a lot of things that I normally would do I don't have to do now, because I've been drawing this kind of stuff for so long that I don't need to do all the steps. So the stuff that would be in this book, the stuff that I would put in this book or that's in this book, you rarely see me do those steps because my brain inputs the extra steps, and I just kind of, when you get to a point and you're so good at what you do or whatever, you've been doing it for so long, and you're drawing the same thing a million times, you can look at a blank canvas and see the image in high res, and then you're basically just tracing it. I see what this person is going to look like already, and all I'm doing is tracing what's in my brain on paper. It doesn't make sense until you get there, because when you ever notice that you have an idea in your head, but when you go to draw it, the idea isn't as clear. It's always kind of like it never turns out the way it's supposed to, or when you're drawing, the idea starts to change, and you get a better idea. The reason why you learn how to sketch and draw faster is so that you can stop your brain from wandering all the time. Because while you're drawing, your brain is like, ooh. Okay, look, hear me out. I know you're drawing this thing right now, but what if we put a lollipop in her mouth? Oh, that's gonna add an extra layer of sexy. And you're like, fuck, you're right. Or your brain's gonna be like, wait. What if we go a step further and we put a banana in her mouth? Oh, people are gonna love that shit, right? And why don't we put some of these pigtails that everybody loves? And it's like, wait. Why don't we put pigtails and spike collar? Like, and this is your brain while you're doing stuff. It just constantly keeps changing your idea, and unless you get the sketch down on the paper real quick, your brain is going to constantly keep changing the idea with something that they've seen before that would make the idea better. Which is why when you get done with the artwork, you look at it and you be like, it's cool. I mean, I can live with it, but it would have been better if it had that spike collar, or it would have been better if it had, that banana. It would have been better if this and that. It's always better if you did something else. I'll do it next time. And that's kind of how we all, do stuff. And that's what keeps you going, because it's like the next piece, I'm going to put a banana. And then you draw that next piece and you don't put a banana. You do something completely different, and you forget that you even said you wanted to add a banana. And over time, you start realizing that you do this kind of stuff often, and you don't understand why you can't get an idea on paper without like your brain changing it. So now you want to get stuff on there faster. So now you're trying to learn how to do things faster so that you can get it on paper before your brain is doing what your brain does. And you start learning different techniques, and those different techniques make little things look better, like the way you draw eyes or the way you draw lips. Like the way I draw faces, right? So like the faces here, they have a lot of detail for the sketch, right? But I know that when I'm coloring the faces in with like lighting and shading and stuff like that, I don't need to put as much detail in the line work. So this looks kind of hollow. I'm not putting that much detail in the lips and all that, because I'm about to put shading on it, and that shading is going to add that extra stuff. Now, if I add both and I do both, it's going to make this image come out a lot more. If I add a lot of detail with line work and then I add shading on top of it, it's going to make this image pop a lot more. Now, again, this is just practice. Your aim is to make your practice look like finished art. You want to be able to look at whatever you're doing and being like, yeah, I could take each one of these and put them on a separate piece of paper and they'll be finished art. There's people out there that do stuff like this as finished art, right? And you have motherfuckers out there that do this kind of stuff as finished art. And your goal should be to do things that look way better than what some people do as finished art. Because again, like I said before, in art, you have to be better than the people that came before you, or you have to be better than the people you're competing with. Even if you don't want to compete with them, you're in competition, and either you're winning or you're losing. And if you don't want to win, somebody else does want to win. You know what I mean? And they aren't going to wait for you to come to your senses and be like, yeah, I'm ready. They're going to already be ahead of you. That's kind of how I think. Is like, and I wasted so many years figuring out everything made up of basic shapes that anytime that I spend now, I kick myself, because I'm like, I should have been this good already. I'm not wasting any more time. I should have already been here, But now every time I get to a certain point, I'm like, man, if I would have done what I was supposed to do, I would have been way further ahead a long time ago. But I wasted so much time trying to figure out something that should have been easy that now I'm mad at myself. That's pretty much how that goes. It's like, it took me 25 years to understand something that changed my career overnight. That everything is made up of basic shapes. Is not circles, squares, and rectangles. Everything that's made up of basic shapes is basically the shapes that you use to remember how to draw said thing. A banana is a shape, you know. A cookie is a cookie is like a circle, but a bit off cookie or a bit off apple or whatever. Anything that you can use to identify what it is you're trying to draw. Like if I said a nose is a pyramid, I could have said a nose is a 3D triangle, or like, but it's a pyramid or whatever. But I could say a million different things. But it's what your brain can remember that will help you memorize how to draw said thing and make it easier for you to draw. You know. I need to understand how to build stuff and how it works so that I can modify it at will afterward. Well, that's the whole thing. Building it is what's going to cause you the most trouble, because you are trying to find a method in order to, like, basically you're trying to find a pattern in which you build shit. And you think circles, squares, and rectangles are what you do, because you've probably read books, or you probably whatever put that in your head. Your brain is telling you that this is how you construct something that ends up being like this. This is not it. The way you construct stuff will change and evolve. You are drawing circles, squares, and rectangles right now because technically you are right. Everything is a basic shape. But you don't want to be limited to the basics of shapes. You don't want to be limited to perfect squares and altered squares, or you want to draw shapes that mix with other shapes, like a square circle, or like, you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be the shape. You know, even if it's in 3D form, it doesn't have to be the shape. It can. If you look back here, this looks like an upside down egg, stuff like that. Like you'll get what I'm saying as you grow. When I first started, I did basic shapes, right? It helped. Eventually, I came up with the shapes that I used to draw my women. You will not use these shapes. The point I'm trying to make is, when you get to the point where you want to be, you will have your own unique shapes that you use, and people that like your work will be trying to copy your shapes. And you will be telling them the same thing. You will make up your own stuff. You will make up your own basic shapes on how to draw stuff. You will not use what you learned from art books or art class and stuff like that. You will literally have your own custom everything, and people will be like, I want to learn how to do his style. That's when you're going to realize what style is. It is literally the steps you use specifically to build the stuff that you draw, that is unique to you. I mean, but you're on the right track. You are literally on the right track. I used to draw my eyes looking like almonds. I used to draw almond shapes in order to draw my eyes. Now, if you watch what I'm doing, I draw a circle and then I build the eye. I build the eye, the actual eye over it. I build the eyelashes or eyelids over the eye. I draw a circle to gauge which way the eye is going to be facing, and then I build the eyelid and I add the eyelashes. I do steps with my eyes that I didn't do before. Eventually, I'm not going to have to do these steps. My brain's going to just make the shit for me, and I'm just going to trace it, because my brain is already going to do the steps for me, and I'm going to be able to shortcut. So when people see me draw, they're just going to see me draw the eye, and they're going to be like, how did you just draw that and get it the way it was supposed to be? Because my brain has gotten used to me doing the steps, and it now just skips the steps. I can just draw it. Same thing with noses. I used to draw triangles or pyramids for noses, and eventually I just didn't have to draw pyramids anymore. I just drew the nose, because I can see the pyramid on the face, and I can turn that face any angle I want and make that pyramid however I want, because I've drawn it so much. It's like that with anything you draw. Once you get so comfortable with drawing basic shapes, your brain can move those shapes as you see fit, which is probably where you're at right now with drawing like basic shapes and having them sit on top of each other and like in rows and all that, you know, the fundamentals, you know, like that's pretty much what you try to get people to understand when you're trying to get them to learn how to do art, is how to make sense of all that. You know, it doesn't make sense when you're doing it. When you look at something like this and you're a beginning artist, you don't know how that person got from shitty art to this. What's up, Rasta man? How you doing? How you doing? Like, it's the same thing as when you see somebody draw a tattoo and you're like, how did you get from a bunch of shitty lines to this? Like, because those lines are the foundation. Your brain already knows what you're gonna draw. You just need to mark it on the paper so you can have you can keep it uniform and build it really quick without going all nuts. Just got home from the shop. Hopefully your day was good. Hopefully you had a lot of good clients. You didn't get any clients. If you didn't do any tattoos, hopefully you get some new clients and you can go from there. I'm drawing faces right now and like doing what I normally do. And the whole reason why I'm drawing faces right now is to get better at constructing faces. Because I can draw faces, but I feel like it takes me, the people that I watch, I feel like it takes them less time to do the shit it takes me a long time to do. And it's frustrating because it should take me a long time to do something that I've been doing for years. But that's where my problem comes in, is I shouldn't be thinking about it like it's taking me a long time. No, it's not. It's taking me as long as it needs to take. I will evolve eventually. When I first started doing this book, I drew, that's what this page is in the book. This page right here is literally like when I first started drawing this book, I could draw women already. I just didn't draw them like, I don't know. Hey, Physical, I didn't draw them like I cared. If they looked like females, it was enough for me. It was about speed. How fast can I get this on paper and make it look like a female, right? I don't want it to look like a male. I want it to look like a female. But I don't care about how it looks. Fast forward to the end of the book, and now I actually give a shit about all the little details and shading. I didn't color this first image. My friend Too Senseless colored it because I really didn't give a shit about coloring. I don't care about coloring. I hate coloring. But I still know I need to color my stuff. The colors that she used were good, but I would have chosen different ones, this and that, blah, blah. This is basically what I would have done with this image had I cared enough to do. This is what my brain saw, but this is what my brain drew back then, because I just left out a lot of detail because it just didn't really matter to me. Now, fast forward to when it mattered, you get a better idea of what I'm aiming for, or what I was aiming for. But I couldn't do all this stuff myself, or I didn't care about doing all this stuff myself. And you basically ended up with this. It was there, people liked it, I got a lot of likes for it, whatever, but it wasn't what I intended. This is what I intended. Now people can see the difference between what I was drawing and what I intended to draw. Now imagine what it's gonna be like in another 2 years. And how much detail is gonna be in the coloring, and how much detail will be in the suit. And you know, all that stuff, everything changes. Got to come back and finish it. I'm supposed to be having possibly 3 tomorrow. Nice. I remember those days. Now I only do one assess. Like when I go in, I'm only doing 1 tattoo and I'm going home. But that tattoo is going to be 5 to 8 hours. You know, I don't really do small tattoos anymore. But shit, that's good. You'll be looking back on those tattoos in years and be like, damn, I did all those. But I had my tattoos on Facebook marked in years, and I would do about anywhere from like 110 to like 85 tattoos a year, which don't seem like that much, but if you're looking at it like each tattoo that I was doing was anywhere from $100 to $500, that's a pretty nice change when I first started out. You know, like it's just, now I'm like, I get paid so much money for tattoos and I do bigger ones that I don't necessarily I don't have to do more than 1 tattoo. I can do one tattoo a week, and that tattoo will basically, like, if I do one tattoo and it's like 8 hours, it's 8 hours at $200 an hour. So of course, you know, math, $1,600. I give the shop whatever I'm supposed to give them. I take home around $1,000. So it's like $4,000 at the end of the month if I do one tattoo a week. Now imagine if I did 5 tattoos a week, which is what I was doing when I was at my peak, and I actually cared about pumping out tattoos. I don't really care about pumping out tattoos now. I care about quality. And what that means is I care about creating things that are going to wow people. And pumping out tattoos was something that I needed to learn how to, I needed to do to learn how to tattoo. Now that I know how to tattoo, I need to be better at tattoo art. And then once I get better at tattoo art, I won't be doing tattoos at all. I'll be teaching people to do tattoos. You know, like that's pretty much what I'm going for. Hey EJ, how are you? We're practicing drawing faces and stuff like that. We're just having some fun. But like that's the whole thing. It's like my whole point was just to learn how to tattoo. Then when I learned how to tattoo, I was like, I want to learn how to do tattoo art, because that's where the money is. People draw shitty ass tattoo art, and it's the tattoo that you do starts off bad because the art is shitty. Like, but no one is going to say their art is shitty because it's just the art that you get off the internet, which is basically shitty tattoo art. It's just reused. It was probably nice the first time someone did it, but over the course of time, they've milked it to the point of grossness, where it's like, really? Another kanji? You know, like, you're not even Asian. Why are you getting Asian writing on your body? Like, you know, you can't tell people that because they're paying you, and it's not about you, which is part you have to realize. It's not about you. Much as you hate what you do, it's not about you. I remind myself that every day. But if you draw it, they will come. Meaning, if you draw stuff that people want, they don't even know that they want it yet. But if you draw it, they will want it. I didn't believe that when I heard it. I thought it was like the stupidest shit ever, but it's true. If you draw the tattoos you choose to, that you want to tattoo, people will get them. I bullshit you not. You make it and you put it so people know that you do it, they will come in masses to get it. Because everybody wants the newest and bluest. And if you're providing it, they will get it. Send me your book a little bit. A friend sent you the book a little ago. I read through it, most of it. Yeah, I apologize for the grammar. We're editing it right now. It is going to be edited, and I will post the edited version so that you can get a free copy of that. It is free. So once we get done editing it, I just didn't want people to have to wait any longer to get it, because my community has been waiting a while for that book. And I was like, look, I just want y'all to see what it's like. And then I will post the edited version and kind of go from there. Actually, it's not that impressive. It's only impressive to people that really don't know how it works. It is what you said, though. It is confidence. It is the confidence to know that I'm not about to mess up. Why would I mess up? I've prepared my whole life to do this. It's literally confidence. That's all it is. It's not hard. It's just confidence. It's just you knowing that you can do this, and that these people are paying you because they trust you, and you know you got what it takes to do it. You can't teach that, though. It has to be. Well, yeah, you can teach it, but you know, like it comes with. It comes with, you know, it comes with time. The more you do tattooing, the more it feels like, it's like when you first learn digital. It feels funny. You're nervous. You keep making a lot of mistakes and stuff like that, and eventually, when you get really good at it, you start looking at it like, how in the fuck was I not able to do this? What the hell is wrong with me? and then you start, teaching other people. I recently got Clip Studio, got to grind and learn this digital drawing stuff. Digital is fun once you learn it. But the advice I will give you is learn it on your own. Do not let people tell you how to learn it, because you're going to end up hating. Why do I say that? Because people are going to tell you what they know, and what they know is what they learned from other people. Or if you got somebody that's like a 10-year vet into digital, they are going to give you the most fast and efficient way, which is what a person is supposed to do. But when you're learning something from the beginning, you don't want efficient, you want comfort, which is where the problem comes in. Is people are trying to teach you comfort, they're trying to teach you speed. You don't want speed, you want comfort. If you're coming from traditional to digital, it's make it feel like traditional until you're comfortable, and then you add all the digital stuff to it. That would be my advice, because that's what I had to do. I had a sea of people that did digital telling me what I should be doing, and 90% of it was hotkeys, and I'm like, I don't fucking know how to type. I type like shit. I'm an old person that doesn't really know how to type. Can someone please give me some advice on something that will help me learn digital without having to learn how to type? But they couldn't, because everybody was basically telling me to do hotkeys, and eventually I learned, wait a minute. Why don't I just do this shit the way that I want to do it? And then I don't have to worry about what people were telling me. And then my friend 2 Cents came along, and she was like, hey, Ink, I made a brush for you. It works exactly like your traditional pencil you've been using for years. I did this for you because I'm a friend. And I was like, holy shit. And it was at that moment that I fell in love with digital. And I've been doing digital ever since. And all the bad shit that I said about digital, basically I had to eat crow. You know what I mean? I had to eat that humble pie, because I realized I only said it because I didn't know how to do what I was doing, and I didn't want to tell people I didn't know how to do it. Like, that's literally most people in digital. It's like, I don't like this, but you don't like it because you don't know how to do it. It's not because you don't, it's because it doesn't matter. I just recently had one of the people that I knew from streaming, that was a traditional painter forever, and swore he was never going to do digital, even though it was like, dude, you are being stubborn. You definitely need to do digital painting. It will change everything. And he was like, no, fuck that. But it was one of them types of things where he probably knew he needed to do it. He just wanted to be stubborn, because people are like that. The edgy artist that wants to make it seem like they chose it on their own. Don't be that person. Wasting time. You sit up and you do the same shit for years, and it doesn't grow. And you realize, oh shit, well, everybody's leaning toward digital. Maybe, just maybe, I should do it too. And now you're on the late bus, because everybody's been doing it, and you're just now getting into it. That's why I'm doing 3D modeling. I did the same thing with 3D modeling, where I was like, I'm never going to 3D model. That shit's too complicated for me. I'm not going to bother. Shit, I need more. I see the potential in in learning 3D modeling. Even if I don't do anything with it, I can see the potential of my art growth in 3D modeling. I basically started with digital, so I have a completely different outlook. Yeah, see? And that's the thing, is like, if you start with digital, there are things in traditional that I think digital artists should know. And most of it has to do with restriction. Working with restriction. Because when you start with digital, there's a lot of restriction that you don't have, but you don't necessarily need it. But like, being able to work in restrictive art will help you in other things that you might do. In case you want to go in like tattooing, you have to learn how to work with restriction. And if you never actually had any restriction in your art, because digital the reason why I really wanted to go digital was, one, I didn't have to buy any more art equipment. I could literally do whatever form of art I wanted in the program. You would be a fool to say you didn't want that. There's nobody in their right mind that should be like, I don't want to be able to have every brush at my disposal and every pencil at my disposal. Uh, but there are people that are like that. I don't want that, But what it is they want exclusivity. They want to be able to push their art as original because it's traditional. But you could still do both. Like, who the fuck told you couldn't still do that? You could still do, like, for people that do that, the smart people already know, like, look, you're an artist. The idea is to learn as much as you can, Yeah, see, you always end up going back. It's not a bad thing to have to go back. So I'm not sure if you look at it like that, but if you are looking at it like that, don't get mad. I still have to go back and learn fundamentals that I thought I would be able to skip. You will always have to go back. All the people that think they're gonna get away from doing fundamentals, like, you will see, you will always have to go back. There's no way you're gonna escape doing fundamentals. There's just no way. You will try, but you will be like, why am I not doing this? And someone's going to be like, you need to go back and practice. And you're going to have to go back. You're going to be upset that you didn't just do it when you had the chance. That's my son. My son is an avid corner cutter. And he is, I'm pretty sure he is hell-bent on trying to do the least amount he possibly can to get where he needed to be. And as much as I tell him he's not going to be able to escape it, well, I'm dad. He ain't going to listen to me anyways, because if he would listen to me, he would probably be a world-renowned tattoo artist. Not saying that he won't be eventually, but he's going to take the long route. He's got a lot of shitty experiences coming in life, in the tattoo form, because he chose to do it the hard way. But I mean, hey, if that's what he feels is gonna make him better, who am I to argue with it? Plus, I get to sit up and watch him go through things that I've already went through and be like, in there, and that. He'll call me and ask me stuff now, and I'll be like, I'm not telling you, because when I tried to tell you, you didn't want to learn it. Now you got to learn it the hard way. And it's not me being mean. It's literally me teaching him a lesson that life does not wait on you. When someone is trying to help you learn something, it is not at your disposal. It is when they want to help you, and either you get on board when they want to help you, or you won't get the help at all. Harsh lesson for people to learn, but they have to learn it. Yeah, I'm too. Like, this is where my fundamentals have evolved to. This is my fundamentals now, because these are the things that I don't really practice that often that I need to. Same thing with like the waifu drawings and stuff like that. Like, all of this stuff is just me training myself to do things that I normally wouldn't train myself to do. I used to do these things called test sheets, which I'm eventually going to have to get back into because I love them. But no, that wasn't what I wanted to click. But test sheets were basically whatever I wanted to practice on a sheet. Like, that was literally the design, the idea behind test sheets was basically anything that gave me trouble. I made a cheat sheet for myself of whatever it was, or if somebody asked me to draw a character or something, and I didn't know how to draw said character, I would make a test sheet. And the test sheet was basically me taking my art style and trying to draw said character and seeing what it would look like before I actually drew the picture. And then I always have a cheat sheet on how to draw said character, and it could be updated and stuff like that, and then I would share these with people. You find these in the Discord, in the, I think there's a test sheet section, or they're under share my art. But I would do these on the daily. There would always be someone that would ask me to draw something, and I'd be like, all right, you want to draw beta fish, okay, so I'll go. I don't know how to fucking draw beta fish. I would teach myself how to draw betta fish. You know, then I would put it on a piece of paper so that I would never have to forget it again. Same thing with tattooing. I hated drawing roses, so I drew roses until I could teach myself how to draw roses. You know, but in the same time, I don't have to draw them anymore because I have hundreds of them, and now I can just use the roses for tattooing. But in other art, you can't do that. You know, like and now I have like thousands of test sheets and stuff that I can go through and like pick from and stuff like that when I want to go back and learn things. And when anything that I want to learn, doesn't matter how ridiculous it is, I have a test sheet for it somewhere, you know. And if I can't find said test sheet, I just make a new one. And most of them are usually for tattoos, but like, you know, things like candles. It's not to learn how to draw a candle. It's literally to learn how to draw candle wax and how to make it look melty. Because the things that I'm teaching myself are things that would make something look visually better, and it's things that people overlook when they draw stuff. You know, that makes something look more interesting, so that when you do something like a tattoo, because I'm a tattoo artist, when you do something like a tattoo design and you use said imagery, like where is it? What's something like here, like this, and you use the candles, all of a sudden you understand why I want to learn how to make things look the way that they look. I learned how to draw candles not so that I can make candle wax look melty, so that I can make the smoke dance like it does. Because dancing smoke is a good filler for a tattoo, and people don't use it that often. But like a burnt out candle with smoke coming off it is the coolest shit ever when you're doing like a dark picture. Plus you can use it as negative space and stuff like that. And it kind of goes from there. One thing about drawing on digital for a long time is that your muscle memory gets jacked up. Yes, it does. And when you go back to paper, sometimes you do the controls. Oh my God, I do the same shit to this day. Or you don't remember how you used to draw on paper, and now your hand pressure is different, and you pick your lead constantly. Like I use a lead pencil with 05 lead, and I snap my lead constantly because the pressure on a digital tablet is different of that on paper, you know. But yeah, that shit fucking sucks, man. Thanks for reminding me of that. But you know, the funny thing is now that I do digital, and I go back to doing traditional, if I do digital work, if I do traditional work, my traditional work is more valuable because most of the stuff I do now is digital. So if I go back to traditional, people value the traditional stuff more because it's original. It's one of a kind. Even though you might do one of a kind digital, if you post it anywhere, people can download it. You know, traditional is traditional. That's literally what people seek. You know, in the traditional sense, like painting and stuff like that. You do a traditional painting, it'll always be worth more than a digital painting because you copy a digital painting exactly the same. For traditional, well, once you have the original, it is original. The copy will never be like the original. But if you know how to do both, you have the best of both worlds. Like that's generally how you have to look at it, which people don't, but you should. Like a lot of people don't necessarily get the point of learning multiple things. Why they call you an artist is a master of multiple things, not just one thing. Again, a lot of people don't look at it like that. They should, but they don't. think I'm going to make another layer. First, this hair real quick. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. You like this right here would take me forever to do with a pencil. I've done it with a pencil, so I know. But man, when you start doing it with like a digital brush, you're like, dude, why did I ever do this with a pencil? But now the problem is I'm gonna have to go back to that because I'm a sketch artist. I like to sketch my stuff. But now I'm gonna be like, I should just not do that. But yeah, I'm not gonna break from my norm. What type of paper do you use for pencil sketching? I use regular paper, regular white paper. I don't use fancy paper. If I'm doing tattoo sketches, I use onion paper because I'm using the paper as a stencil. But I just use regular cheap paper. I don't buy anything fancy. When you buy fancy paper, you tend to, from what I've learned from my experiences, when you start buying expensive shit, you don't want to mess it up, and you need to leave room for you to make mistakes in your art. And when you buy, it's like when you buy an expensive sketchbook, you don't want to use the book for what it was designed for, which was sketching. You literally don't want to make mistakes when that's what a sketchbook is designed for, so that you can sketch out ideas and concepts. We forget that. We literally forget that entire concept when we do shit because we're so used to not, being perfect. That perfection is what's hindering you. And you know this, and you do it anyway. It's just really funny. Like, you want to be able to make mistakes. You want that freedom to make mistakes. Like, you buy shit that makes you not want to make mistakes because it's like, this fucking book is expensive. I'm not about to make a mistake in this. It's like, well, there you go. Now you just put a handicap on yourself because now you don't want to make mistakes in this new sketchbook that you bought because it's lambskin and all this shit. And, future people that look at your sketchbook, you don't want them to see your unfiltered ideas that aren't polished. You get it? You get caught up in that whole mentality that you just want people to see the perfect side of your art. What you want to do is you want to get in the mentality of letting people see shitty side of your art. So when you do something good, they're like, holy shit, now that's, they get to see the improved part of your art. See, I don't use like bleed proof paper and all that. I just use regular cheap shit because I'm not selling artwork. So that the other thing is like when I do stuff, I'm like I'm not selling it, just drawing. So why does it need to be fancy? Like the presentation doesn't matter. It's literally just like I was looking at I was looking at like the presentation doesn't matter because it's just bullshit. I'm just drawing. Again, I never intended to sell art. And that's like the whole thing is like a lot of people they want to sell art. I was never intending to sell art, like ever. So like I don't really look at I never really looked at buying equipment to like sell. Like when you get expensive paper and stuff like that, you're giving your art more value. I was always like, ah, this looks like shit, you know, but whatever. I'll draw another one. Like it was never about selling the art. Yeah, but to see the thing is like it was at that same in that same breath, tattooing. I get the best tattoo needles. I get the best tattoo ink, all that, because I'm selling that. So it's different. When it comes to sketching on paper, yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna grab whatever I can get my hands on now and sketch on it because I realized something I didn't realize when I first started doing it is that all of that shit that I was doing to make myself look like an artist, I don't need it. You know, like buying the fancy paper and all that stuff, that was me trying to make myself look like something I didn't have to make myself look like. It'll make it, like I said, it'll make sense to you when you get further in your art career. Like a lot of stuff that you do, you're gonna min-max the fuck out of your art in your career as you get older into it. Not older as in age, older as in experience. When you start looking at other people struggling with what you went through, you will know you are older in art. You can see people that are at a point and that you used to be at. That's when you know you're getting older in art. That could be a year from now. It could be 6 months from now. When it happens, you're gonna be like, I remember when I used to have that problem. Now you don't have that problem. Because now you have bigger problems. And your problems are gonna always be bigger than the people that are under you because you are going through. But as you get bigger in art, you get more emotional problems because your connection to your art is different. Now the shit that you're going through is literally more like it's more mental. Start having like that, like again, like you imposter syndrome. Start realizing that you aren't as good as you thought you were, which you probably never thought that in the first place. But now it's like, oh my god, other people are seeing this. Other people are seeing that I'm not as good. Oh shit. Now I'm gonna be exposed. You know, but people aren't really thinking that. Just you hyping yourself up for no reason. You know, like you're making yourself stressed out for no reason. The average person is so worried about their art, they are not worried about yours, but you know, most people that are going through shit, they see things in their art that they think people are seeing. You guys know what I'm talking about. You're artists, you know what I'm talking about. Shit that you're probably going through right now. It's the same as when you don't post something on Instagram for a while. You're stressing out because you think that your Instagram's going to shut down or people are not going to come to it anymore because you haven't posted anything. And it's like, I hate to break the news to you, ladies and gentlemen, but people literally don't care. Like you think they care, but they literally don't give a shit about what's going on your Instagram. You can miss a couple weeks or a month or whatever. They only see it because it pops up on their timeline. If it doesn't, you know, they won't. If people aren't commenting on what you're doing, they don't care. It's just the reality of it. If they don't take the time to write a comment, they generally don't care, and that's how shit works. I'm assuming that makes some people mad because they think that, you know, it's not that way, but trust me when I tell you, people don't be thinking about your shit like that. Yeah, you think you wish you had comments until you get comments and they're not good. Just remember, comments aren't always good. Sometimes they're really bad because they're like, well, most people be like, well, I can accept the bad comments. No, it's not those kind of comments. You know, the criticizing comments you could probably deal with, but then it's the condescending ones that try to tell you how you should be doing or what you shouldn't be drawing. It's not comments like your fingers are a little off or something like that. It's comments like, why are you drawing that? You shouldn't be doing that. You know, while they're on your page looking at your shit, they're telling you what you know what I'm saying? Like there's a good and a bad with comments. You don't, social media shouldn't even be, you hear this all the time, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this before. So we already have our generic response to it, but social media is not important to the growth of your art. Social media is paying you, 9 times out of 10 they're not. It doesn't matter. It is unimportant in every way that it could be unimportant. It is literally unimportant, especially to the growth of your art. Social media doesn't tell you how good you're going to be. All you're basically doing is presenting the art to people that are on the internet that can give two shits less about it, in the hopes of grabbing somebody and them being interested. You're fighting for the attention of people that you don't need the attention from. Everybody does it. And until you start realizing that it doesn't matter, you're always going to not get people's attention, because you're going to be so hyper focused on drawing things to get people's attention. It's drawing you away from your true growth. The reason why those people aren't giving you the attention that you deserve is because you're doing things they've already seen other people do better. Wish that more than 7% of my audience would see my post. I wish that you didn't know how many percent of your audience didn't see your post. That's the bigger problem. And you are literally concerned about how many people have saw it. That means that you are checking, because you are using social media to gauge. What it basically means is you are focused on whether or not you can market yourself, when you probably have a lot more art growing to do. Trust me when I tell you, other people will do your advertising for you when you're at the point you need to be at. And what I mean by that is people will share your art in abundance because it's shit's so like, you know, like I think it was EJ. Yeah, like I think EJ said somebody shared my book with them. That right there, like that's what you want. You don't want to be like, hey man, look at my book. Which, by the way, guys, if you want, it's free. ! Book in the chat. You can check it out. But you don't want that. You want other people to be like, hey man, look at this book, or hey, did you buy so and so's book, or hey, did you see so and so's book, or so and so's work, or whatever. That's what you want. You don't want to have to do it yourself. You want other people to do it for you, because that means that it actually is making an impact. You don't want to stress yourself out about doing stuff. You want to get done with said thing and then move on to the next thing and not think about said thing anymore. If you're sitting up hyper focused on said thing, which again, we all have our generic responses, right? I'm not really doing that. You don't have to explain it to anybody but yourself. You know what you're doing. And until you stop doing said thing that makes you feel the way that you feel right now, you're gonna always feel that way. Even if people are commenting and all of that shit like crazy, you're still gonna feel like shit, because you're making yourself feel like that and you don't even know it. Birds. That's why I stopped trying to like, like everybody will be like, well, I know damn well you want to sell art and stuff like that. I mean, it's nice to be able to sell stuff, but it's not my focus. It was never my focus. When I realized that I would never be able to be as good as when I knew I was going to be as good as my idol, I didn't care about being good because I wanted to be his level of good. Now, I'm like, well, I don't want to be that. I want to be my level of good. I can just enjoy his art for what it is and stuff like that. He exists. There's no reason why I can't exist in the same field as him, but not have to compete with him. That was the problem. Because I'm over here trying to compete with somebody who probably doesn't even know who I am. We do this to ourselves. And the minute you let go of that kind of shit, of course you grow a lot more. But you don't know until you let go of that kind of shit. It is literally a part of art. But you have to go through it. You have to want it. Know why you don't need it. If you never want that kind of stuff, you will never know why it's so important to let it go. Well, that's the thing, is because in person you get a genuine opinion about your work. It's genuine, it's unfake. It's the same as like tattooing. You do tattooing, and as soon as the tattooing is done, you get an honest opinion. Either they're gonna fucking love it or they're gonna hate it. And God, you want everybody to love it, because man, you don't want to have to deal with the person that hates it. It's inevitable, but you don't want that. But you learn a lot more from the people that don't give you the response that you want. If someone hates your work, you grow a lot more because of that person than you do of somebody that loves your work. Because you are so used to people telling you that they like your work that you are robotically programmed to expect them to say it. And when they don't, you're like, what the fuck? You mean you don't like it? Why not? And instead of and all that time, you're like, well, if somebody didn't like my work, I won't care, blah, blah, blah. And then the minute someone doesn't like your work, you realize that you do care. You care more than you let on. Now you need to find out why said person doesn't like your work. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I am all faced out today. Probably gonna be on tomorrow doing the same exact thing. I'm making faces for the gallery portion of physical copy of my book, Friends Don't Make Friends Are Waifus, which you can get a free copy right now if you do !book in the chat right now. It is the unedited version. We are editing it right now, and then we are going to be releasing a physical copy. This is what I'm working on right now. It's the physical copy. I don't want to show you guys too much, but physical copy is going to have twice as much stuff in it, and it's going to have all the artwork, all the best of the artwork that I was asked to draw while I was working on this godforsaken book. And I want more. I want it to be something that I can remember for years to come and be proud of. Which is why I'm doing stuff like this, because this is the kind of stuff that I'm going to look back on later on and be like, why the hell didn't I draw more faces in my book? I realized that I did a face study section and I didn't really draw any faces. I just told other people to do it, and most people don't know what to do without instruction. So I need to show them an example of what you should be doing for the face challenge so that they don't get lost in the shuffle. I do appreciate you guys showing up, and if it's your first time here, please hit that follow button. That is literally why I made the book, to say thank you for those of you guys that have followed and that have been in the community for a while. I do have a section in my Discord where you can request drawings and stuff like that. That's where most of the waifus and stuff come from. I don't really make these ideas up, I just draw them. The rules are as follows: you can ask for whatever you want, but if you ask for something raunchy, I'm gonna tag you in it, because again, a lot of people think that I'm drawing this weird shit and y'all are coming up with it. 90% of the gallery is going to be stuff that you guys came up with. It's just the stuff that you guys asked for while I was doing the book, which most of you that have been here already know, but the new people don't. And then we're gonna go back to drawing like monsters and robots and stuff like that, you know. And how to fix it, critiquing fine is fine. It's necessary to get better. True. The downside to that is when you don't ask for it. Like, that's my thing. My thing is I don't ask anybody for advice. I have people that I can go to for advice. When you get better, you learn a dark truth that everybody wants to help the good person, or the person they feel like is good. Everybody wants to help Jim Lee, right? Even though Jim Lee don't need no help, he's fucking Jim Lee. But if you can tell Jim Lee how to correct his hand, you just got clout. I just helped Jim Lee fix his hand. He made a messed up hand. I told him how to fix it. That means I'm good. Like, that's what people want. Unsolicited help is what you're gonna, see, I don't really like that kind of stuff. I have people that I ask for help, but I always get people that are like, hey man, you want some advice? No, not really. Okay, well, I just want to let you know that this, like, I just said no, you know, because 90% of the time, the advice you're giving them is how you would do your stuff, which literally is the opposite of what you want from your art. You don't want your art to be like anybody else's. You want your art to be like your art, not everybody else's art. But man, trying to get people to understand that is like pulling fucking teeth. I've been doing like a lot of dark hair studies too. Could actually give her some glass and make her nerdy. Yeah, we're just gonna continue drawing faces and stuff like that. I usually draw these off stream too, but I want to try to draw more on stream so that people can see the VODs. I'm gonna post the VODs on my YouTube channel. You guys want to go back and watch them and stuff like that. The heavyweight in the industry, J. Scott Campbell, for example, I've always hit me with compliment sandwiches. Spend more time encouraging me than critiquing. Well, that's the thing. It's like, thanks for the follow. The thing is like, man, if I ever had Joe Madureira compliment me on one of my pictures, I would stop drawing. because that would literally be it. There would be no higher, there would be nothing higher for me. There would be nothing left for me to accomplish because my idol just complimented a piece of my work. I think that's why I'm not getting complimented, right? I think once I get good enough to capture my idol's attention, why do I need to go any further? I just need to stop. There's nothing that's gonna come after that other than working with my idol. And I'm not in game development and I don't do comics. So unless I tattoo him, ooh, oh, if I tattooed him, oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Well, yeah, that's the thing, is like that's how you grow as an artist. You want to be like other artists, but then eventually you realize that you don't really want to be like them. You just want the attention that their art got. You want the same attention that your favorite artist gets. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it is a pill you have to swallow. It is literally, hey, I just want to be like you. You know, and that artist will be like, no, you don't. No one wants to be like anybody else. You want your art to get attention that my art got. But you don't want to be like me. Why would you want that? You want to be you. Just want people to praise your work like mine. The same way you look at my artwork, you want someone else to look at your artwork. And it is the truest sense of the word. As much as people don't like to admit it, and much as people have whatever they're gonna say about it, it's true. I know it's true. I would have said no before, but yeah, I definitely know it's true. Yeah. Now here I am, 47 years old. I can pretty much draw whatever I want. And all I want is to leave something behind for my son or any other person in my family tree that wants to do art to look at and be like, wow, I want to be as good as my grandpa or great grandpa or great great grandpa or my dad or whatever. I don't really care about fame. I know what the cost of fame is. I like money, but I'm already making money, so I don't need that. You know what I mean? Like, it would be different if I wasn't making money, but I got lucky. And I will say that it is definitely 100% luck. I got lucky because I got into a career that went perfect with the way that I like to draw. I don't like to do repetitive drawing, which is why comics would have never worked for me, because it's repetition. Like, not repetition like you're drawing the same thing. It's repetition like you have to learn how to draw the same character, same scenery, you're telling a story. I didn't want to do any of that. I just want to draw and have fun drawing. Tattooing gives me the opportunity to be creative and only have to do the damn thing once, which is definitely a very, 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 very good thing. It's such a good thing that I ended up making a lot of money from it, and I'm good enough to where I could teach people. You know, like I look at these, right? And like, to the average person, it's probably pretty cool, right? You know, oh, this is nice, whatever, you know, like, you know, some people are out there probably like, I wish I could draw that. No, you don't. No, you don't. Once you get to the level where you can draw stuff like this, you realize how insignificant it is in the overall scheme of learning. When you get to the point where you draw stuff like this, you realize that it's not that magical. These are faces that probably resemble somebody in the real world. I just took ideas that I had in my head and put them together, and that's what came out. You know, you can always make a face look original by changing something. I could give her a mole. I could give her piercings all over her face. I could do a lot of different things to this person to make this person be the person I want that person to be. But it will look like somebody because it is a person. So I'm not impressed by drawing faces because it is going to look like somebody's real face in real life. You know what I mean? No matter how many combinations you come up with, it is just a stylized version of something that might be real. Now, what I'm trying to get to is once I get over here, all the shit will be weird. You have alien faces, people with 3 eyes, 4 noses. I am building to something, you know. Being that an image meant for tattooing is configured differently than just drawing a picture on paper or on PC. Is there our market for just being an artist that makes tattoo art without actually doing tattoo? Yes, absolutely. That's what I promote all the time. I keep telling people you don't have to be a tattoo artist. You can draw tattoos for a living. That is what I'm going to do when I retire from tattooing. I am going to draw tattoos for tattoo artists. But you have to know how to construct a tattoo in order to make it be able to fit the body without actually doing it. That's where knowing tattooing comes into play. But since I know it, I can teach it. You can draw something like this and know that this will fit, and know what a person will have to add and take away. Know what you can improve on. If I looked at this image now and say, okay, well, if I'm going to improve on this image, what would I improve? Of course, I would actually put more detail in the snake heads. You would do that when you were drawing anyways, when you were tattooing it anyways, and you draw it on the body. I would make the leaves look a little bit more fancy because my leaves now look fancier. I would draw the snake head different on this. I would give her a lot more movement in her hips and stuff like that. There would be a lot more things that I would change, but there's a lot of things that would stay the same because it literally laid out the way it would look like on the arm. You don't necessarily want this person to be looking, you don't want this to be like an up and down image, because when you put it on a person's arm, someone standing straight up isn't going to be straight up on the person's arm, depending on how you put it. The arm is straight up and down, but the image and the form of the arm is not. Things are going to be different. You want your imagery to flow something like this. This is better. She's kind of in a sitting position. We wrap around the arm, the sitting position isn't going to change. It'll actually help make the image look better and look more busy when you wrap it around the arm. This image would translate less. It would be less easy to translate this image and make people be able to see what's on their arm from any position than it would being doing this image. You know, same thing with the leaves. The reason why you make the leaves look more complicated, like in this drawing, you make the leaves look more complicated because now when you lay the leaves on the arm and you start tracing you start doing the tattoo, you realize that the more complicated the design work is, the less you have to do in shading and coloring and stuff. The line work in this style of tattooing will carry you more than fancy coloring and stuff, but it will actually take a lot more effort to make the coloring pop, but the overall image will make you a lot of money and it will get you known and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with stuff like this. Something like this is this is like high level complex. This is where I'm at right now with my designs. I want my stuff to be super complex because I know it's going to take a long time to do, and it will look good. It also will pay the rent, because if it takes a long time, it makes a lot of money. But the thing is you're looking at it like, if it's going to take a long time, the client will be happy when it's done because it will be worth it. You don't just want to take a long time to milk them. You want their image to be worth the money that they spent on it. Which means the more complicated the design, the more the client will be okay with it taking a long time because it's complicated. You know what I mean? And it looks good. And no one else is going to be able to match what you do. You know? You can do smaller stuff, like little small pieces and things like one-offs and stuff like that, or you can do the generic shit like this. and make it look fancier because you can draw feathers and not such a generic way, like little things like that. But yeah, there is definitely a big market for it. I wonder if you use 3D model, would it help with that? Yeah, you could draw the design on a 3D model, but that is overcomplicating something that is simple. You don't want to 3D draw. You don't want to draw your tattoo on a 3D model. Like it's how do I say it? It's basically like trying to put the chicken back into an egg. It's literally more complicated than it has to be, you know. Like there are people that literally do that. They have 3D models of an arm and they will put the model in Photoshop or whatever, and they draw the tattoo for the model. Well, you don't necessarily have to do that if you know enough about tattooing and tattoo drawing. You can literally draw the image and you know that it's going to fit. The tattoo artist is going to have to the tattoo artist is going to have to adjust anyways and add stuff to it anyways. If I give a tattoo artist an image like this, they're going to have to add to, this is the top layer. It's going to be a 3D tattoo, so there's going to be branches underneath and silhouettes and all of that. That's why I don't worry about anybody taking this, because they don't know everything I was going to do to it. They're just going to take it and trace the top layer, and you're going to have a really detailed top layer and nothing underneath. When I'm done with it, it's going to look like a branch, a 3D branch on your arm. You know what I mean? With layers, you know, and there's going to be a lot more complexity to it. The colors are going to be more vibrant because you're going to add darker stuff underneath. Everybody knows that the best way to make bright stuff stand out is to make it dark. Same thing with this. Let's take this for example. Zelda Queen's tattoo. We are about to start coloring. Okay. Here is the color. All right. But if we take away color, it looks flat. You know, it still looks good, but it's flat. But once we add the color, now you see the depth in it. And this is going to wrap around. Well, it's actually already on her arm. The line work is already on her arm. We're about to do the color. And this is the color we're going to do for her first session. And then I am going to color in the rest of this over here. And then she'll come back and get that done, and so on and so forth. And by the time we're done with that, we'll have this fully colored. But that's also the other thing. When you're drawing, you're thinking about what it's going to look like finished, because the client doesn't know what it's going to look like finished. You show them the sketch, you're going to wow them with the sketch, but then when it's done, they're going to be like, holy shit, like, come on now. The sketch didn't look half as good as the color. When I added the color to this, I was like, God damn, this is fucking epic. You know, I don't really like the way Ganon looks like this right now, but I know that when I color Ganon in and he has his pupils and everything, because I don't want to put lines in the eyes, and there's a lot of stuff you have to learn that you don't need lines for, or that you can use color instead of like hard lines. It makes everything pop better. You know, it's how you build a tattoo. If you also notice, the tattoo isn't balanced. It's off balance because the tattoo is going to wrap around, and you don't want this running into something that's on this side. Simple thing that everybody overlooks when they're making tattoos. It's super fucking simple, but people don't realize it. A tattoo should not be even when you draw it. You should if you do make it even, you have to compensate for loss, because you are going to lose parts in your image when you wrap it around an arm, you know, or a leg, or whatever you're gonna put it on. You know what I mean? That's pretty much how shit like it works. But again, when I actually get done with the book and everything like that, and I get back into drawing my tattoo, I will go in depth. I'll go back in depth, because we used to do tattoos days where I was teaching tattooing to two. Oh my God, my tongue. I was teaching tattooing to two senseless. and I was basically going over all of this stuff. But now I've evolved. I know a lot more. There's a lot more that I can add to that as far as tattoo design. Now I don't want to teach people how to tattoo. I want to teach people how to draw tattoos, because man, the thing that you run into the most is like people just draw shitty tattoos, and I'm just tired of seeing it. I literally want to help people draw better tattoos. That's it. That's my goal now. Draw better tattoos. Stop drawing shitty tattoos, and I'm going to help you with that. Well, at least that's what my goal is. In any case, I appreciate you guys coming out. I will more than likely be on tomorrow. I'll probably be streaming around the same time. I'll more than likely be drawing more faces, or I might actually be playing video games. I need to plug in my PlayStation and download all of the PlayStation Plus catalog before it's gone. You know. So yeah, if you guys haven't already, exclamation point book in the chat. Download the book, check it out, and stuff like that. If you want to donate to help me finish the physical copy of the book, because I'm paying for it to be edited, it would be much appreciated. Also, you can send me a DM in Discord, and I will put your name in the thank you section of the book. It's like way at the bottom, past the not safe for work stuff. Yeah, you can put your Twitch name, you can put your real name or whatever if you want to donate. Doesn't matter what you donate. You can go to exclamation point book, donate what you want, or you can just take the book for free and enjoy it. Tell your friends about it or whatever. I'm not going to advertise the book on social media until the physical copy is done, because that's worth advertising. This is more so for people that come to the channel. So yeah, with that being said, I bid you guys a fond adieu. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, life is a canvas. All you need is ink. You guys have a good night, morning, evening, whichever. See you tomorrow.